All right. It's a Thursday. And if it's a Thursday, then the bumper-to-bumper people are here, and they're going to give you as much information as they can to keep your car running at the best that it can run. But let me just say this. If you're not servicing your car on a regular basis, don't expect somebody, a technician, to somehow resurrect your car.
That's it.
That's not possible. What do I mean about, are you doing what you need to do? Well, changing the oil on a regular basis. BJ, since you're here, BJ from Jets is here today. He's going to be in the studio with me during this hour. So what is cars have a computer that keeps track of how you drive, how many miles you've drove, and it looks at it and says you should change your oil now, okay? Or it starts at 100% and works its way down.
I hear you.
Is that reliable, or should you do like your daddy used to tell you to do every 3,000 to 5,000 miles?
Well, as much as you don't like to do what your dad wants you to do, I mean, yeah, you do. 3,000 miles is considered extremely premature for, a lot of folks these days. 5,000 miles, I would say, is going to be right there on your mark. I like 5,000 mile oil changes.
Okay.
If you go by that index on your dash, I don't recommend it.
Is that like rolling dice, and say daddy needs a new pair of shoes?
I think it's worse than rolling dice. I think you're pretty much, the way I see this, it's more than just a car maintenance game. It's a game of when you buy this car and how many, that sticker on there when you buy it has that outrageous price in there, but it also says it only burns X amount of barrels of oil per year.
Right.
I think they're adding in, their 10,000 mile oil changes. They're hardly showing as little consumption as possible. So,
and what consumption there was on that car in the test site was on a flat surface.
Absolutely.
At a perfect speed.
Yeah. And if you do 10,000 mile oil changes for 100,000 miles, you're going to see consumption.
Okay.
At that point, more than likely.
Think it'll go up?
More than likely you're going to start consuming.
Creeping.
Yeah, your engine's going to be in pretty bad shape. Like you said, you got to service it, Well, it's like your body, you got to.
I agree. Now I use my device on my car, but when it hits 35%, I go in and get it.
35 is the good number. Yep. And the oil index, they kind of move and they go by your driving habits. It's not just usually a set number. And, it knows if you're driving highway or a lot of stop and go or interstate. But, and it'll probably flag you in, somewhere between 8 to 10,000 miles is usually what I see. But usually if you're about that 30% mark, you can guarantee you're probably, 5,000, 6,000 miles into that interval. And, you still give you a little bit of time to save, because – guys, let's think 0-20 oil. The first number in that equation was 0.
That's the weight.
Yes, and that's what's in there.
I don't see how you can have.
And that goes back to consumption,
weight.
Dave. That goes back to consumption.
Okay.
And then America is the only continent that uses zero anything in engines. It's just for fuel efficiency, Dave. It's for fuel efficiency in gas that's not very efficient whatsoever. The E10 fuel, that stuff's less efficient.
Cafe standards. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
What I was looking at, a lot of people have been buying new automobiles and they've been freaking out because they've been buying on 7-year contracts.
Mm-hmm. 7-year note.
Yeah. I mean, my God, I never heard of that. That's just recently. But
I'd be tired of it by then.
But I did a search about this. Do you know what the average car contract is in Europe?
No, no.
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah. I guess I could see that.
I don't care if it's a Mercedes made of gold.
That's just not very economically.
No.
I've had mine for 10 years, but I ain't been paying on it for 10 years. That's why I've had it for 10 years.
Absolutely.
Have you been doing some work on it?
Always
Something going on.
I need to get his number whenever we get off here.
Okay, so think about how expensive it is to do it on a Mercedes.
Oh, I already know. I sold cars. You don't, and the ones that they sold at auction were like 99.999 miles. You don't buy a Mercedes out of warranty. You trade it in.
Yeah.
Because it's too daggum expensive.
Well, I don't know what their warranty is, but I can tell you.
100,000 miles.
Well, that's not enough anymore.
Isn't it 100,000? I think it's 100,000.
I'm just saying that's not enough anymore. Although they dropped the 100,000 mile warranty in America.
Maybe it's lower than
You
that.
can't find many cars that give you 100,000 miles.
I wouldn't buy a Mercedes or a BMW to save up.
I was going to say, if you're a premium import car buyer, looking like a BMW, Mercedes, or something Volvo like that, you're probably more likely going to be leasing this thing for
until it's
2 to 3 years, and
right.
then you're going to pay the balloon and get a new one. And you're never really going to reach that point to.
But I used to love seeing those people come in. Oh, Mercedes for $4,000 because we sold cash cars, right? They would be in decent shape, but might be a light on, or there's something with the traction control, but in a couple of months when you drive that thing, something's going to happen.
Yeah,
and you may be fine when you buy it, but the person that traded in knew that warranty was up.
Yeah, and how much are those parts that you're going to have to replace?
Yeah. And you got to wait for them to get here. Like, my ex-husband bought a Mercedes, and I was like, you should have asked me, dummy. But anyway.
What is the car you will wait the longest to get parts for? I've heard Subaru. Is that right?
I haven't really had many. No, we get Subaru parts pretty
quickly,
pretty decently quick. Now, there was a couple years ago, there was a lot of delaying and whatnot.
Well, yeah,
but it's kind of cleaned up a little bit. Yeah. I would say, generally most of your import stuff, like the Land Rovers, and we don't work on that much type of stuff.
I heard that's the worst car to buy used. Oh, yeah, buddy.
They're labor intensive. I'll just put it to you that way. They're fine automobiles. They're awesome to drive. Don't get me wrong.
No, I enjoy driving them.
Oh my goodness, they fit. There's a couple models that fit me perfectly, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could see myself driving this thing.
And they look nice, but
yeah, and they're sexy, but they are not. They're just not economically friendly. You're just on a whole nother level of maintenance interval schedules and parts costs.
Don't get me wrong,
those vehicles are built pretty heavy. Yeah. But there comes a time where those parts wear out like everything else.
So how often or how expensive, maybe I should say how expensive, is like a Land Rover oil maintenance? Because I know how expensive Mercedes and BMWs are. American cars are relatively inexpensive for oil maintenance. That's not the case with.
Yeah, at my shop, you're still going to get the the $89 oil change, but you're probably going to have the European oil. We're going to have to adjust for that. If your oil filter is like a $15 oil filter, I'm going to put another probably $5 charge to adjust for that. And if it takes any more than 5-6 quarts of oil, you're going to get adjustment for that as well. As far as like doing the oil change on them, they're not that. As for Land Rovers, they're not that bad. They're there's a few more shields you got to take off underneath. But other than that, the filter's easy to get to and whatnot.
The reason they upcharge is because you're driving a Land Rover.
Well,
you're driving a Mercedes.
It's a prestige, type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is the drain plug easy to get out and put back in?
Yeah, if you got to watch out, make sure it's not plastic. And, you do aluminum pans, you got to be extremely careful not to strip the threads out. It's just so soft. You can't over tight. If you grab onto one of those with aluminum pan and you feel it's got more than about 30 pounds of torque on it, you're holding your breath.
So you need
you're going
to have to be easy.
You need a torque wrench then.
We need a torque wrench to set the torque. You set it with a torque wrench. You pull it off with whatever you can pull it off with. But yeah, going back, very important because a lot of them are plastic oil pans. Audi, they recommend you change the plug in the pan is plastic, and every pan under that thing is plastic, and all the plugs look the same. God. And there's about 3 or 4 different types of fluids that you could drain out. There's, it can become a bad situation really quick if you're not paying attention. Yeah. And then the fluids, like if you end up dumping out, like the transfer case fluid on one, that's right next to the transmission. They're all kind of sandwiched together on some of those. I mean, you're going to talk about you just set yourself up for $150 fluid change, just to get it back right.
Good
so,
God.
yeah.
I just know that,
you can't go down to Aldi and buy quarts of fluid. You buy it by the pint.
Oh my God!
I'm not going to talk bad about oil changing places because they have their place in the ecology of taking care of your car. But I will say this: I did my first. I went to Splash and got an oil change. Cost me $90. Okay, to get it changed, and I like what. My bumper to bumper folks do better over at Joe's Garage because, like I told you, I ran out of window washing fluid, and I've never ran out. And I thought, well, the reason I haven't run out of it is because Joe's Garage tops it off every time I go in and have a service done.
Yeah, oil change or not, we're looking. I always tell my guys, be sure to top these fluids off, whatever. It don't matter if they're here for an oil change. Just top it off. It's
don't depend.
Courtesy.
Like I've gotten mine done at Walmart before just because it had to be done, like because a car had sit. They don't do the stuff they say they're going to do. They didn't check nothing. I had no fluid. I had nothing. And it's checked off on the list. They're so full of it.
You would be amazed. I guess, sometimes people go to an oil change place where they get used to being at a good one. They have everything checked, like you're saying. Then you go to another establishment, and then you would be amazed how many people call me up. Hey, I've just had my oil change, but I'm still showing a low washer fluid, or my coolant's showing low. Some of them meter the coolant, so
or they didn't.
They would come by and just top them off, and that's it. They didn't even look
or
at
maybe they didn't know how to reset my counter.
Yeah, the counter.
Car.
Yep. Those, some of those can be pretty tricky.
Yeah, when you got to cross your eyes and stick out your tongue, and, and do all that.
Beep, beep 3 times.
Oh, they're crazy.
And they're all different. They're like credit card machines. They're all different. And, there's some that we can do lickety split. And then there's some, when you do them all day long, you're doing something different every 30 minutes. It's like, sometimes you have to research it just a touch, and, some are easy and some are complicated. No rhyme or reason to it. But
it's crazy. All right, going to get a break in. It's 19 after 7. It's a Thursday. We're getting close to the end of February.
Shush.
That means that we have already killed and burned off 2 months.
Oh, that means another year of my life.
Quick like.
Early voting is still going on, and we'll do so until what?
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Tuesday's the day.
Okay. That's the day that we're supposed to vote on?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the day I'll vote.
So that's the key. I've been wanting to go over there, but it's like
you were supposed to go. You were supposed to go last week. You were supposed to go.
I'd be driving over there, and there's a Popeyes before I get there.
What stopped you yesterday?
And I didn't. I went home and I took a nap. I was tired.
That's because you got all these days leading up that you can do it, and now you're just like you're going to be like me. We're going to probably go together.
Yeah, procrastinate. But I got to do. Oh, by the way, I'm trying to think. Friday, we're going to hear from one of the judges that are running. He's running for Supreme Court.
Arkansas Supreme Court?
Yeah. Last name starts with the B.
Well, what else would it be? Duh. That was a blonde moment.
What is he? Yeah, well. I'll
have to look.
I want to say Biani, and that's not it. That's Dick, who was the radio announcer in Chicago, Dick Biondi. Yeah. So it's we're going to have him on Friday.
Okay.
I don't know if he's coming in or he's going to call. I talked to David Ray. I guess he's running the campaign. And
David,
he told me that he'll call or he'll come in. And I said, well, could you guys let me know before? I'd really, really like to know.
Right.
All right. We'll be back with BJ here in a moment from Jets here on the Dave Ellswick Show. Let's take a quick break, then we'll come back.
Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Nick Bronny. Appointed to the court by Governor Sarah Sanders, Justice Bronny believes in the rule of law and the Constitution, and his conservative record proves it. He has protected religious liberty, the Second Amendment, and girls' sports. He also upheld Arkansas's voter ID law. He does not legislate from the bench. He only interprets the law. Call Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Nick Bronny and thank him for defending our Constitution. Paid for by New Generation, Inc.
If you're like most Americans nearing retirement with money in a 401k or IRA, then listen carefully. The U.S. dollar is under pressure. Foreign nations are reducing reliance on the dollar, and some analysts are openly warning about the long-term stability of U.S. currency dominance. Whether you call it currency debasement or the collapse of the dollar, the risk is real. And when confidence in the U.S. dollar shifts, gold and silver historically respond. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 to get your free gold investment kit. You'll also receive a free copy of Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Most American retirement accounts are dramatically underallocated to precious metals, even as central banks continue buying gold at record levels. Many Americans are rolling over a portion of their retirement savings into physical gold and silver, tax and penalty-free with Advantage Gold. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
The Car and Truck Doctor Show is back. Sponsored by Bumper to Bumper Auto Parts and these dealers. Weber Automotive in Conway and Total Tire and Automotive in Conway. Now, here's Dave Ellswick on 101.1. The Answer.
All right. Bronny is the name.
That was so perfect timing.
Yeah, he'll be with us on Friday to talk about his running
Just
for
think of paper
the Supreme
towels.
Court. Yeah. The quick picker upper.
Yep.
All right.
That's why when I go to vote, I guess that's how I'll do it.
Yeah, well.
Did I hear Mr. Clean retired the other day?
Yeah, did you see that?
Really?
Sorry, didn't mean to change
But
subject.
here's what's so funny about that, BJ. The company said he's retiring, but we're still going to have him on our labels. Well, then he's not retiring.
He's losing his talent fee,
Right.
Dave.
Yeah.
Is he getting a royalty from that?
That's just really weird.
That's
really
the new way of
strange.
kicking them out the deal, you know.
Yeah, you're too old, but we're still going to leave you because people know Mr. Clean.
You would not believe how many people commented on that story on my Facebook. It was crazy. I mean, they were upset.
I have to go check it
Why
out.
would you mess with a branding?
Well, why did they
thing?
take Aunt Jemima off? That was
Well,
the ridiculous thing. And Uncle Ben and this so
Well,
stupid.
that's a whole nother episode.
Right?
That's people that get their feelings hurt way too easy.
I mean, but that's what people knew that as.
Honorable.
And they were
people.
loyal
Yeah.
to that brand.
Yeah.
And then that's not racist. You took that away from that woman.
Do they still have Red Chief pads for teaching kids how to write?
I don't know, but I'm fine with it.
I mean, you
I'm
had
Native
one
American.
in grade school, didn't you?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
that.
it was a Red Chief. It had the Indian Chief's logo on the front of it, and you opened it up, and it had the 3-line thing. So you used the top line for capital letters, and for small letters, you only went up to the second dotted line.
It was like a penmanship
And then
writing.
and then they gave you the pencil that was the size of a
I guess I didn't.
of a
I don't
telephone
remember that.
pole. You know, you got these little hands that you're trying to learn how to write with, and you got this
Big old pad.
no, the pencil.
Oh, the pencil.
You could seriously, if a kid went crazy in a classroom, could have seriously hurt another kid by beating them to death with that pencil.
Oh, you're talking about those big,
The big
fat,
thick
pencils, the big thick ones. I know you're talking about.
They used to
No
give you
eraser on them.
and I would use both of my hands to hold
My
it,
kids probably used them as drumsticks.
That's crazy.
You know how many phone calls I got about that?
About what?
Can you please stop Trevor and Dane from playing the drums in
Oh,
class
there
with
you
their
go.
pencils?
I got you.
I'm like, they're drummers. No, I can't. I mean, I'll try.
Yeah, they like rhythm.
So if your kid is using his pencils as drumsticks in like kindergarten and stuff, he's going to be a drummer. Get him a drum
But
set.
I don't understand why they give kindergartners and first graders that huge pencil. I mean, when you were learning,
yeah, it's hard to control as an adult.
When you were learning to be a mechanic, a technician, did the wrenches come in supersized for you?
Dave, they'll sell them to you any way you want them, brother.
Hey, I think women,
it don't matter, man.
Women need smaller wrenches.
Whatever sells, man.
I mean, think about that. You know, a crescent wrench that's like, 3.5 foot long and big round.
It's not proper for the job. Not the right tool for the job.
Might be to smack somebody in the head with, but.
Well, now let's get personal with BJ. Anyway.
Don't give anybody any ideas.
He can't break anything over this head anyway. So.
BJ, how long have you had Jets now?
4 years, sir. 4 years next month.
Been that long?
Yes, sir. It has.
Good.
The original owner, he popped in yesterday and purchased some tires from us. Just say, hey, how you doing? Yeah, he's looking great. If anybody knows George, he's looking good. He says his wife's not feeding him.
He's not underneath the pressure of running a business.
He says
anymore.
His wallet's full of air, so he's doing good. He says hi.
Well, good. He's a good man. He really is. I used to stop by and talk to him. Did your business pick up when it's been about 2 years since they opened that car wash by you?
Man, honestly, I hadn't paid much attention to the car wash. I've been through it a few times, but I mean, no, there's, we've got the oyster bar right there, and then that car wash is on the other end over there, so it don't really create. It's got a convenient little in and out to it, right there off from Kavanaugh to Woodrow.
Right,
like you could drive right through it and not even stop. You probably, get around traffic going through the car wash.
I was
honestly,
on Kavanaugh and was coming down the hill there.
Yeah,
I always just cut across the road and get on Woodrow and then go on down to
it's a neat little spot for a car wash. It is, but I know, we got that. There's a convenience store on the other side of it. I believe the roof caved in on, so it's all gated up right now. They're doing
because of the snow.
The snow got it.
Have they started that road where they're going to
the road dot or whatever you talking about on Markham right there?
Yeah, where they're supposed to be making it one lane like morons.
Well, it's supposed to be 2 lane. Yeah, 1 lane. Each direction.
Because it's scary, man. That is not.
But people are mixed on that. For safety wise, you do need it. I've seen a few wrecks on that Johnson and Markham right there, that corner.
That's because those people shouldn't be driving.
People honk for not going fast enough through the area.
So you're gonna put a 1 lane in.
Well, yeah, in the turn lane, it's actually gonna be 3. But right there at the oyster bar, they want to neck it down, put outside dining, 10-foot sidewalks, whatnot. And
so they did it for the oyster bar.
Well,
Oh, now the truth comes out.
Ain't
got nothing to do with the traffic.
But
anyway, I'm surprised they're not putting the circle in there.
I mean, that's like over on Bowman. That was 2 lanes, right? It was 2 lanes. It's 2 lanes on both sides before 4 lanes, right?
Yeah.
They took it out, put a bicycle lane. I have not seen a bicycle person summer, spring, fall, winter riding a bicycle, and yet we're poking along up that hill.
Well, don't forget to look for them. They're on Kavanaugh. You can go up there.
Well, that's different. But that's Bowman.
Yeah, you got to watch the lane up there.
Oh, yeah.
You really do.
I mean,
I try not to even test drive vehicles in the bicycle populated areas.
No bicycles, though, over here on Bowman. I'm just like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, ever. And they did the same thing right here. Mm-hmm. Right here. Henson.
I wouldn't.
They made it a 1 lane.
Bicycle in Bowman. If I just was making personal decisions.
But you know what aggravates me? I go out here when I leave the station. I go out here.
I got to stop you.
We got to do news.
We got to get to Bill O'Reilly. He's up on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Don't wait until it's too late. Find out if you are already a victim today. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com. Use the promo code BILL to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. On this Thursday, crime is back. Undocumented migrant crime. President Trump made a huge deal about it in his address on Tuesday. The Democratic response was an oldie. Migrants commit crimes at a lower rate than U.S. citizens. So what? Even if that claim is true, which it is not, why would any country accept criminal activity from foreign nationals who have no legal right to be in that country in the first place? That's nuts. In the USA, the migrant crime stat is taken from Texas data, not FBI national statistics. Also, at least 11 states do not report migrant crimes under sanctuary policies. Here's the most vivid example I can give you. The drug trafficking in San Francisco, an enormous problem, is controlled by Honduran illegal aliens. Not only does the city fail to prosecute most drug dealers, the state of California will not cooperate with federal law enforcement to even arrest the Honduran pushers. Talk about a get out of jail free card. Same thing happened in Minnesota with the Somali thieves. No state cooperation or even investigation into the billion-dollar fraud exposed by a freelance journalist. So Democrats, please spare us the propaganda about migrant criminals. It's insulting. Back after this. More Americans are switching to all-family pharmacy because getting medication should not depend on your insurance company telling you no. If you already know what works for you and want real medical freedom, you have to choose the right pharmacy. All Family Pharmacy handles everything, including the doctor's prescription, ships right to your door. So please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/bill, use code BILL10, save 10% on your next order. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More.
There's a real battle going on, not only for our future, but that of our children and grandchildren. How do we ensure they have it better than we do? One way is to keep listening to us. We're your information source in the battle. 101.1, The Answer.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But, try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council. We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. It was just an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age. Everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We may see the sun occasionally today, but mainly clouds. High of 68. Same clouds tonight in 53. Then sunshine to end the work week on Friday and a high of 70.
The Car and Truck Doctor Show is back. Sponsored by Bumper to Bumper Auto Parts and these dealers. Sullivan's Automotive in Little Rock, Carter Radiator Service in Little Rock, and Walker Auto Repair in Jacksonville. Now, here's Dave Ellswick on 101.1 The Answer.
Yeah, if you're looking for a bumper-to-bumper certified service center, just type that in your search bar on your computer, and there's a lot of certified service centers around. You can find one. I bet you can drive, if you took a compass and drew a circle around your house of, do the little map thing of 2 miles, you'll find that you have one within your driving area.
Absolutely. Either a store or a service center is in your area.
Yeah.
Bumper to bumper, Crow Burlingame, they're not going to make you the flashy store. They're not going to put it on the popular street corner. They do cater to the public, but they expertisely cater to the mechanic shops such as, us and Ducks and Carters.
And if you're thinking, how good are they? Well, they've been in business for over 100 years.
Over 100 years.
So that's how you're doing something right if you're in business
years.
for over 100
years. If you don't believe me, just go down to 7th Street to that store number 1, the first one, and you can go in there. It's like a museum. And you can go in there and see all the old signs. It just smells like an old parts room, old
cool.
Parts house. It is. It is really cool.
Do they have different hubcaps and steering wheels and stuff on the walls?
No, I don't. Not many hubcaps. I mean, you can get the little cheap plastic ones, but
I'm talking about when hubcaps were hubcaps.
I know hubcaps were worth money at the scrapyard.
Yeah. They weighed about 15 pounds each. No, they didn't weigh that much. All right, 7:38 on a Thursday. Tomorrow is one of my favorite days of the week, Friday, because then I can really look forward to the weekend, and that's coming up. We got quite a bit of guests coming on tomorrow. We got a lot for today. We'll do bumper to bumper until the top of the hour. At 8:05, David Fisher will be coming on, and we'll be talking about what the economy is doing. What I'll be talking to him today about the State of the Union that the president gave and what he thought about it. And he'll talk about gold and silver as well, about precious metals, because right now, being honest with you, right now it's time to get into precious metals. They're going up, up, up fast.
Her gold is like, what, $5,000 an ounce in the range? Yeah.
When's the last time you looked at gold? I looked at gold maybe let's say about a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was just nudging over 1,000.
Yeah. And not really going anywhere quick.
No.
Yeah.
And now it jumps.
You'd be better off investing if you was looking to invest in money, you'd be like, wow, do I need to buy this gold or should I flip a car or a house?
Well,
or something.
It's been up. Gold is up 61% already this year.
Yeah.
It's pretty
impressive. But who'd have seen that?
But we'll talk to David about that. And Kim Hammer's coming in today. He'll be talking about running for Secretary of State. We'll be talking to Congressman Bozeman today as well, and what he's up to with the Ag Department that he's the chairman of in the Senate. So we got a lot of people. Matt Smith's coming in today, and you know what it is when Matt Smith comes in? We don't know what's going to happen. We really don't. I bring him in, I put him in handcuffs, and we set him down in front of the microphone. Then when his time is done, we unleash him.
Sounds like a rowdy guy.
Yeah, he couldn't get a little rowdy. He can get a little rowdy, but he'll be in here in the final hour of the show today. So we got a lot coming your way. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss any of it. If you're you want to go on the Dave Ellswick Show Facebook page, you can watch the show. You go on the 1011 The Answer Facebook page. You can watch the show there. And I understand that we're on Rumble and we're on a lot of other places as well. So we're out there. We're the 21st century schizoid man. How do you like that? That is going back and drawn on some music from that time. I love that song. That's one of my favorites. You like that song? You know what I'm talking about, Val? 21st Century Skitchway Man. Look it up. It's a great song.
A lot of Dr. Demento.
Oh, no, it's not Dr. Demento.
Okay, I didn't know.
Not even close to it. It's not Weird Al Yankovic. I would guarantee you that. It's not that. You know, I used to listen. My friends used to say, Dave, you listen to a really strange mix of music, because I used to listen to Atomic Rooster and people like that. Mm-hmm. And now those groups are looked back on as, you know, genre breakers of their time. They were great. Oh, they were super.
You don't see any of that anymore.
No.
It's like vehicles. There's really no. They don't have a. You know,
they
don't have a face to them. You don't recognize.
As a technician. I mean, you're old enough that you remember that just looking at the back setup of the taillights of a car, you knew what kind of car it was.
Are you kidding? I think about that all the time, man. I'm like, when I was a teenager, I could rattle off every dang car that was coming at me in the middle of the night. You know, and then now it's like they're just all bland. You know, they all got, you know, stadium lighting on the front of them anymore. It seems like.
When I drive down the road and people got their fog lights on and their regular headlights on, I go, we need to go back to, remember when we had just that one bulb that you put in the middle of your grill on the front of your car, and you thought people would see it and wouldn't let them run.
My grandpa used to always saying, you know, burning the midnight oil.
Yeah.
That's no joke. Back in the day, they had a lantern burning the midnight oil, you know, on the car.
Yeah.
But that's way back in the day, though.
Well,
but, you know,
I had a birthday, and I go way back. I go way back. So anyway, yeah, it's a lot of things have changed, and not for the better.
But Dave, I promise you, it's going back to that. I mean, I used to have 67 F100, and I was passing a guy one time at night, and these, you know, still beam headlights, probably like 25 watts a piece, just dim. You know, you could have them bright, nobody would even think nothing of you.
Yeah.
You know, but man, I remember there was a cop sitting on the left hand side of the road facing the other direction. You know, right there, just off. And man, I mean, when I come by him, I was, you know, passing the car, and I passed the cop at the same time. I couldn't see his reflection, couldn't see anything, just because the lights are so dim.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, that one earned me.
Now you come around the bend, and the cop's got somebody pulled over, and they've got like 20 searchlights on them.
Yeah.
And you can't see anything. It's like you drive into the setting sun going
Oh,
west.
man, I'm telling you, when there should be a law against those lights being so blinding.
Well, you know, I understand they want the light because
I can see you, but I can't see anything else after that.
That's the problem. The problem is those lights are sitting on top of their car,
right?
And they should have some way that they can take and make them shine down.
Look, I was walking my dogs when I first moved back, and there was this. I was walking around the neighborhood, and there's apartments, and this. It was late. Like, my dogs want to go out. They're like teenagers. They want to go out at crazy times. And he's shining his light really bright on top of there. And I didn't realize he had his window down. And I was like, can you turn that light off? I was like, you're blinding me. Next thing I know, it went off. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, because it does. They blind you. And in Texas,
I couldn't even see what was there. I was just walking down the street.
It's worse in Texas. And I lived in Texas for quite many years. And they do. I mean, I understand out in the middle of where the
you want
out in West Texas or something like that. You need to
no
cross the
range.
Yeah, you turn the lights out, and it's dark,
way dark.
You know, I can understand the way they want to light things up. I really do understand that. All right, so let's talk about wipers. The most expensive wiper on your car probably is going to be your rear wiper.
Be that rear one, that little funny looking rear one on the back.
Yeah,
that really doesn't do a good job usually. But
I didn't.
We slap you a perfect view on there and
break
get the best, give you the best chance possible.
Now, that's something I wanted to talk to you about. Bumper to Bumper now has their own brand of, taking the water off of your windshield.
Mm-hmm.
And are they as good as the the other ones?
Dave, I don't use anything else. once I seen the Perfect View, used it on all my stuff, and
it's called Perfect View.
Perfect View, yeah, okay. Made by Bosch. Bosch is a leader in the blade business, and a lot of others as well as far as research and development. They do a lot.
Because I always put Rain-X on mine.
Rain-X is a good brand,
but you're telling me this brand is as good as Rain-X?
I would absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
and it's for the price point. It's right there. I mean, it's economically, it's probably gonna be better.
Okay, good.
But I mean, it's marketing. I mean, Rain-X has got their own brand and marketing channel. They're trying to do, and honestly, it could be made by the same company. Who knows? There's probably only 3 guys making wiper blades anymore these days. So, but either way, I mean, as far as branding goes, I mean, there's good wipers out there, but the Perfect View, I mean, it checks all the boxes as far as reliability, longevity. The functionality, the way it works.
And we're not that far from springtime, so now would probably be a good time to go ahead and change your wipers.
Absolutely. Get all that nasty grime off of your car.
Change your oil.
Yep. Clean the car, spring clean the car. Make sure your oil's good. Bring it to one of the service centers, give it that multi-point check over. If that air conditioner's been acting a little lazy, last year or whatever, you need to start, thinking about that. We're kind of easing into warmer temperature, every other day it seems like, but so you don't want to get caught in a rush, because when air conditioner season starts full throttle, there's going to be a line to be. You have to wait.
There's a long.
It's going to get humid in Arkansas. You're going to be uncomfortable. It's going to suck driving your car. Excuse me, but yeah, you just want to stay in front of that just a little bit. Don't wait until you have to wait.
Okay.
Yep.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Getting the oil change. What else is it time to change your antifreeze again? Do you change that twice a year or just once a year?
Brother, on the antifreeze engine coolant, I mean, that's considered a long life coolant. Obviously, you want to put your eyeballs on it every time you pop the hood. It's very important. Life or death situation, just like oil, very important. The mainest thing, if as a consumer, if you're just looking around, you just want to make sure there's some in your reservoir. If you believe it's low, it needs to be topped off to the lower high mark there. You can bring it to one of our service centers to get checked out further if you continue to have a leak. But don't ignore low coolant levels. If you're having to top that thing off at least once a month, you need to have it checked out. There's a lot of plastic parts on the engines and coolant systems that they'll crack, they'll seep. And honestly, when the engine's cold, sometimes they'll seal up. And when the engine gets hot, they kind of expand open a little bit. And that's the issue with some of those. They're hard to diagnose because, it's not dripping, but it's going somewhere. Well, I mean, that can mean a bunch of things, but, a head gasket's going to be way, I mean, if you're leaking because of head gasket, that's like a $10,000 repair compared to a $200 plastic fitting repair. Right. So you want to make sure, get it diagnosed properly, make sure there's no leaks that are going to leave you hanging.
So the best thing to do is make an appointment and come in, and you all know that people want you to check out their car from bumper to bumper.
Absolutely.
You like how I got their name in?
That's great.
That works. All right. Bumper to bumper.
Certified Service Center.
Yeah.
Yep.
Check it out. I'm just telling you, if you do things like that, very seldom will you find yourself on the side of the highway. Not saying that it won't ever happen, because anything made by man is prone to break, and you could find yourself on the side of the highway. But if you check things, these guys see, that doesn't look exactly right.
Yep. So if you're proactive about it, it costs 100 bones to get your oil change anymore. You just deal with it. But if you have any kind of pride of ownership, you need to have your car into a service center, at least checked out. We're going to give you, a forecast like, hey, in 30,000 miles, you need to be looking at this, or, hey, what is the end game with what's your plans with this car? Cause that's going to make a lot of decisions on which direction you want to go. Or is it just a new vehicle and you want us to, you don't want to go back to the dealer cause they run you around trying to trade you in every time you go for your free oil change. We get a ton of that. So yeah, people like the independent, for more than just one reason. And, it's a great thing. It's a great network.
All right. We got to get a final break in. We're talking with BJ. BJ owns Jet service station. It's right over there on Markham. You can find him. It's right down from the Oyster Bar.
Right down from the Oyster Bar.
I mean, go have lunch, and while you're eating, let them service your car.
Yes, sir.
You can do that for you. All right, we'll take a break at 7:51. Then we'll be back to finish it up with BJ here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
When your AC breaks down, who do you call? Hey, this is Doc Washburn. I call my buddy Brian Knight at Knight's Service Company. This family-owned HVAC business built their 25-year reputation on Christian principles, honest service, and putting customers first. Whether it's air conditioning, heating, or refrigeration, if it heats or cools, they fix it. All makes and models. For fast, affordable, and honest solutions, visit KnightsServiceCompany.com. That's KNIGHTS servicecompany.com.
Have you ever wondered how safe your money is in the bank or how to protect your 401k and IRA? Hi, it's Dave Ellswick for Landmark Capital. David Fisher with Landmark Capital will help you navigate through uncertain times. You can also hear David and I discuss the current happenings in the precious metals world every Thursday at 8:05. You'll get up-to-date information on the precious metals markets and great insight from David so you can make the best financial decisions for you and your family. As the founder and CEO of Landmark Capital Precious Metals, David has brought together an experienced team. With 30 years of guiding investments in gold and silver, Landmark Capital can help you secure your wealth today. Call Landmark Capital at 844-604-2575. Have a question? Just call 844-604-2575 or landmarkgold.com. Again, landmarkgold.com.
Let's be honest. The National Symphony may not be in his future, but he wanted to try violin. So you said yes because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more about keeping your kids safe in your vehicle at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Show him you love him. Keep him safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Car and Truck Doctor Show is back. Sponsored by Bumper to Bumper Auto Parts and these dealers. Joe's Garage in North Little Rock, Mid-State Transmission and Auto Repair in Benton, and Pinnacle Automotive in Little Rock. Now, here's Dave Ellswick on 101.1, The Answer.
Just like the Tooth Fairy, the Bumper to Bumper Certified Service Centers are everywhere. You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you? Yeah, Tooth Fairy used to be a show that they played on the morning shows of many radio stations across the country. And the opening was the Tooth Fairy. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. It's great. It was great stuff. If I could get that material again, I'd incorporate it into my morning show again and play them because it was a daily, soap opera. And that lasted about 60 seconds. Yeah. It was hilarious. It was just really, really funny. All right. So with that said, so now's the time to call and get set up for spring, because if you don't, everybody's going to say, "Oh, it's time to get set up for spring," and you're going to have a big line in front of you.
Yep, you're going to find yourself out there, with bad wiper blades, hydroplaning all over 630 out there, and oil change light on, and then you're going to have to wait 2 weeks for service. So let's don't do that.
Okay,
be proactive.
Makes sense, and be proactive and get your oil changed. Maximum 5,000 miles. Normal, my dad always said 3,000 miles. Mm-hmm. And I know that those old iron engines, wore down fast because they didn't have fuel injection and all of that. It was like pouring gasoline out of a pitcher into your car through the carburetor.
Well, you ever get behind one of those, like an old truck or car, and you sit there, and it's like pumping all that in your car. You're like, how do we do this? Yeah. How this was everywhere.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's insane.
And people who say that the air's still really polluted, it's not even near
the way
it used to be. I mean, it used to be if you went to any city, there was as you were driving into the city, there was a brown, noxious
or
cloud.
You fly down into one or something. It's like, whoa.
You come over
when you see that, you're from Arkansas, you really don't see that much, know, but it's eye-opening. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And, we were killing the Great Lakes at that time. Lake Erie was dead. They brought that back to life, basically. It's amazing what has happened. And by the way, it wasn't just by government mandate. Businesses did it on their own.
You're exactly right.
They did it on their own.
Yep. And, it didn't cost as much. They weren't forced into it.
Yeah.
Like the auto industry has been forced in all this rigmarole that they're trying to undo right now.
You got to do it the government's way, which typically is one of the more inefficient ways of doing something.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, I kind of feel for, like Ford and Chevy. It's like, Ford, they basically shelved their Ford Lightning program. Chevrolet, I'm sure, Jim, they're continuing on with their Hummer and their Jims, their truck. I mean, you're so invested into that thing.
How many are you selling? That's the question.
I've seen like 2 or 3 of those Hummer trucks, and I've only seen one. I've seen one GMC truck EV on the way up here this morning.
I can tell you Teslas, I have seen maybe in the course of a year, I might see 5.
Mm-hmm.
They're hard to miss. When you see a Tesla, it's a Tesla.
Yeah.
And because it looks like it was made out of a bag of blocks.
Done with a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Built like a door stopper.
Yeah, it's really crazy. It really, really is. All right. So I think we covered all the major things that you should get done. Just call your nearest bumper-to-bumper service center, and they'll take care of you.
Absolutely. And if we can't, we'll find one that can. And if we're inconveniently located for you, we'll find one that is conveniently located for you. If you have a big rig diesel, we can help you there with, Duck's Garage.
Well, Duck, he handles all those big trucks.
Absolutely. And you want to talk about getting hard to get parts for? That's you was asking me earlier. That's a continual thing in that business right there.
Yeah, he says that.
Yeah,
and Duck talks about that on the air.
100%. You could drive out to his place, and it's not because he has lazy mechanics or, they're not getting anything done. That is not the case.
They wait. They wait sometimes 3 to 7 weeks.
Absolutely.
For a major part.
Could you imagine leaving a job for 3 to 6 weeks and then having to come back and start on it again? I mean, that's the most frustrating thing. To leave one overnight in a bay tore apart's kind of daunting, but anyway, we get it done.
And remember, DIY, all right? There's a way we look at this. Do it yourself. You don't work on cars every day. These guys do. They get in, they can do it fast, they can do it right. And DIY for you probably means destroy it yourself.
Destroy it yourself.
All right. So the days of, and
I've done that myself.
You all that are in your 50s and beyond know what I'm talking about. Shade tree mechanics is gone.
Yeah,
you can't work on cars anymore.
No, it's pretty tough.
I don't have the money to buy the computers that you got to have now to work on cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total investment. It can be done. Absolutely.
That's what you do. All right, news is next. Thanks you very much, BJ.
24/7 or watch us at SNC.TV. KDXE, Kamek Village, Little Rock.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rick Thomason. Cuba identifies the 10 people on a boat that opened fire on its soldiers as armed Cubans who live in the U.S., claims they were trying to infiltrate the island for terrorism. The BBC's Simi Jaloma shows that it had happened off Cuba's northern coast.
The Cuban authorities say most of those on board the speedboat had prior records involving criminal and violent activity. Cuba's Interior Ministry said that border guards approached the boat to identify the passengers, but that those on board opened fire.
The guards fired back, killing 4 people. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says it's clear that Cuba desperately needs change.
It is the only chance that it has to improve the quality of life for its people and not lose 15% of its population since 2021. 15% of the people of Cuba have left since 2021. That is not a system that's working.
Rubio says the U.S. is investigating this incident. Another round of U.S.-Iran nuclear talks underway today in Geneva. Shooting at a Rhode Island ice rink. It's claimed another victim.
Authorities say a third person has died following a shooting at an ice rink in Providence, Rhode Island. Gerald Dorgan had been in critical condition ever since his ex-son-in-law opened fire at the skating rink February 16th, killing Dorgan's daughter, the shooter's ex-wife, and Dorgan's adult grandson, the shooter's son. Dorgan's wife, the shooter's ex-mother-in-law, and a family friend were wounded. As people jumped on the shooter, one witness says the gunman pulled out another weapon and killed himself. Police say the gunman specifically targeted family members. And Donna Warder.
Hillary Clinton is to testify today in the congressional Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Tomorrow, it's Bill Clinton's turn. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are up 115 points. NASDAQ futures 11 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
We have reached... What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
9 Ukrainians have been wounded in a Russian airstrike on Zaporizhia.
President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia has launched a barrage of 420 drones and 13 missiles at Ukraine. This latest attack comes hours before US and Ukrainian envoys prepare to hold more talks in Geneva on ending the war, now in its 5th year. The nighttime bombardment targeted critical infrastructure and residential areas across 8 regions of Ukraine. Video provided by the State Emergency Service shows the upper floors of residential buildings on fire in Zaporizhia, the region's home to Europe's largest nuclear plant, which is currently held by Russia and remains a sticking point in peace negotiations. The service reports at least 9 people were injured in that attack. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine also adds Russia's used over 5,200 kamikaze drones against Ukraine. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
News and analysis at townhall.com. With Cuba's communist dictatorship on the ropes because of U.S. sanctions, Canada announces it will be sending aid to the island.
Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand has said the funding is aimed at addressing urgent needs and that she did not discuss the decision with Secretary of State Marco Rubio or other U.S. officials. The funding will be delivered through United Nations agencies instead of the Cuban government. The resident coordinator of United Nations in Cuba told the AP that fuel access was critical for their immediate response to Hurricane Melissa and more extensive operations. Cuba is facing an increasingly dire energy crisis that has heightened in recent weeks after oil shipments from Venezuela were halted. The U.S. arrested its then leader. I'm Karen Shamma.
Max Scherzer returning to the Blue Jays. He signed a $3 million one-year contract with Toronto. More on these stories, townhall.com.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call now at 800-533-6605 for a free consultation. For 17 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. Don't get stuck in the endless cycle of payments. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
All right, we move into the second hour of the Dave Ellswick Show for a Thursday, and David Fisher is up next from Landmark Gold. We're going to have him on with us for about 25, 30 minutes to talk about the economy and talk about precious metals and who knows, we might talk about other things and might talk a little baseball with him. I don't know. Never know what's going to come up here on the Dave Ellswick Show. David, thanks for joining me today. You said that the GDP figures were disastrous last week. Why don't you start off right there?
When we talked last week, I said for the budget to be balanced, because we have a $2 trillion just shy of that trade deficit, we'd have to have the GDP to go to 6% for twice in time. That's what I said on your program last week. And I said, that's only happened twice in the history of our country. World War II, post-World War II, when a lot of people were working in factories and we were recovering from a war. And so we had to rebuild our country. The second time was post-COVID, when all that money that was injected into businesses, free money, then they started spending it, and it caused, for a very short time, about less than a year, GDP to go to 6%, then it calmed down. So it was stimulus on both occasions. Well, the report came out last week, CNBC on Friday, said that the Dow Jones is going to estimate that the GDP is going to come out at 2.5%, which is way lower than 6%, but it came in at 1.4%. Just a horrendous number, which, this just means that the economy's not growing at this, it's growing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-Trump or anti-economy. I want our country to do well, but it's not growing at the rate that we need it to grow at to get enough revenue to keep up with the massive spending on our government. And that's the problem, because this thing is snowballing our debt. And, the trade deficit also went up unexpectedly. So we're not getting this revenue from tariffs that we talked about last week. And the IMF says that stocks and bonds are now not the place to be for a hedge against what's coming. Because it used to be, Dave, when stocks go down, bonds go up. That's your hedge when stocks. But stocks went down, bonds went down here this last year because the dollar is in a sell-off mode. So we're seeing some red flags happening on Wall Street. Here's the title of the article. Red flag for the economy as Wall Street posts the worst start since 1995. I am not anti-American. I'm not anti-economy. I want to make that really clear. I'm just reporting the news. There's a lot of this hoopla about the Dow hitting 50,000. Let's put this into perspective. It's up 3.3%, which is 19.8% annualized if it continues at the rate we're at. Gold is up 19.8%. So gold is doing what it's doing in 2 months, what the Dow would do in a full year at the rate that we're at. Or in other words, gold would be up about 120% this year if it continues. Whoa. Silver's outperforming gold 22%. So the economy is just showing us through the thermometer, the indexes, that yes, we're moving ahead, but it's not at the rate that some people are saying. We have to be realistic that we have to really take care of our debt.
I put together some numbers early this week. The debt now is about $38.5 trillion. $38.5 trillion. Yep. We spend $8 billion a day in the United States. The government collected $5.23 trillion. That should be plenty of money to run this government and the programs that we have. But they spent $7.1 trillion That's $1.38 trillion in the hole. Now, I don't do it in trillions of dollars, but when I was young and stupid, I used to, bring in, a couple $1,000s a month, but I would spend $3,200 a month with credit cards. And then I found out real fast that the chickens do come home to roost, and things were really tough for a while. The federal government, they can't avoid the chickens coming home sooner or later. They're trying to come home right now, and we're fighting them off as best we can.
Well, I think you bring up a really good point, Dave. We don't have a revenue problem coming in. We have a spending problem.
Yeah.
And just like, you said, most everybody, and I was that way when I was young, for a small 1 or 2 years in my life. And then I had a wake-up call too. Unfortunately, the government has not had its wake-up call. Why? Because it has something that we don't have. It's called a printing press. The Federal Reserve can print money or digitally or electronically out of thin air. And they think, and the government thinks, you can just create this debt and it's never going to come home to roost. Well, the stark reality is it's now coming home to roost, evidenced by the thermometer of the dollar going down, the most it's ever gone down last year, 9.5% in 1 year, and gold and silver rallying the most it's ever rallied in the history of my career, 32 years. And we're seeing the same exact repeat in 2026. After the pullback in gold, after the massive intervention in the dollar that we talked about on your program 3 weeks ago. So the government, this is not just a Trump administration. This is a Biden administration behavior. This is a previous Trump administration behavior. This is an Obama behavior. This is a Bush behavior. This is a partial Clinton behavior. This has started basically in the late 90s, the year 2000, where this whole idea is it doesn't matter how much debt you have, we'll work it out later on. Well, that's the catastrophe now that we're facing, and that's why things are going to get really, really dicey down the road, because this thing is snowballed because the interest payment on the debt is now $1 trillion. And when the country gets to that level, if they don't stop, the next thing is you lose your world reserve currency status, and that's what's coming next. And that's why it's the evidence of these things that we're talking about.
And I'll be honest with you, David, that scares me. That really does. That scares me.
Well, let me put your fears to ease a little bit. What I'm not saying is the dollar's going to crash and go to zero. Paper money's going to become worthless. What I'm not saying is next year or 5 years from now, and maybe not even 10 years from now, the dollar is going to get kicked off the pedestal as the world reserve currency. But it will happen, and it could happen in 5 years. What that means is they're going to have to do something, either massively hyperinflate, seize our money, back the currency by gold. Something drastic needs to happen. And that's what I've been talking about. That's what my white paper is about. I think President Trump's going to back the currency by gold. There's so many reports out there and so many working pieces behind the scenes. I think that's what's coming with this revaluation of gold. It's really the only solution, but it hasn't happened. And if it doesn't happen, we will have, if something major does not change, the currency of the dollar will fall drastically, and that will cause all kinds of financial negative implications. And that's why you will see a rally in gold continue. We're at the start of this, not the end. The fix is not here yet. They can fix this. They just got to stop spending, but they're not going to do that. President Trump and his administration is behaving just like he was his first term. And I'm not bashing him, but he spent $8.3 trillion in 4 years, what Obama did in 8, basically. And we're on the same course. Biden was horrendous, more worse than Trump. We're trying to dial it back a little bit, but he's doing some things that will hopefully maybe work, spur the economic growth, but it's still not going to be enough, evidenced by the GDP numbers, to get the debt under control.
There's so many things I could talk to you about. We don't have enough time to talk to about all of them. So let me go ahead and move on. And that means we can talk about Iran a little bit. The saber rattling is getting louder and louder about Iran. Iran is rattling their saber and saying, well, maybe we'll attack you before you attack us. I wouldn't suggest that to them, but they're talking like that. But what does all this talk do to the markets? And if we end up bombing Iran again, like we did just a few months back, what's that going to do to the markets?
Well, I think this bombing is, I think we're going to have a war, unfortunately. I don't want a war. I think we're going to have one. President Trump said last Thursday, if they don't come to the table and we come to a full negotiation, we're 10 to 15 days away from that happening. So I'm going to speculate, and I hope I'm totally wrong. It's either going to be this weekend or the following weekend. I don't think they're going to do it during the week when the markets are open. Typically, they do it on a Saturday or a Sunday. I could be wrong, but it's coming real soon. And because the red lines are, they don't want to stop uranium enrichment. That's the big red line between both countries.
They don't want to stop developing their ballistic missiles.
That's another red line. Another one was President Trump said, if you shut down the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to come in. They shut down the Strait of Hormuz.
Yep.
He said, if you kill people for protesting, we're going to come in. They killed 7,000 people. That's a conservative number. Some say it's a lot more than that. I can go on and on. All the red lines have been crossed by Iran. And so it's like, and he even said in the State of the Union address, he says, I want to hear those magical words that we are not going to have a nuclear weapon. Well, they're not saying that. So this is going to happen more than likely. What is it historically? What happens to the markets? Well, the 1990 Gulf War and the 1993 war when we went into Iraq, both times stocks went down immediately. The dollar went down immediately. And I'm not anti-stock. But this is what happens because it creates uncertainty. Oil shoots up because this is the oil region previously there and now. And gold and silver, gold mostly, makes a big move. That's what happens immediately for about the first 3 weeks to a month, sometimes 6 weeks. But here's the difference. Let's go back to 2003. We're in a different environment now. Back then, the dollar was loved. Back then, we had our debt under control. Back then, we had a $300 billion budget deficit. Back then, we had a $300 billion interest payment on the national debt. We have a $1 trillion interest payment on the national debt, $2 trillion budget deficit. We were $6 trillion of debt. We're $38 trillion. The world doesn't want the dollar now. So it's a different environment. So we could see things be a lot more aggressive this time if we go to war. But here's the other flip side. War is good for economic growth, and we need economic growth. I'm not justifying the war. I'm just saying it could be the hidden message covertly that might help spur the economic growth in America. And it will benefit that, but that's not a reason to go to war. The reason to go to war is, bottom line, we can't have Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that is the bottom line. There's no way that we can let them in their position in the Middle East have nukes. We just can't do that. All right, let me get the final question in for you. We've been talking about gold and silver, and you've been talking about you expect them to keep rallying like they have. With the Supreme Court ruling against Trump on the tariffs, I've been reading many articles now saying, well, though they've cut him back on doing tariffs this way, there's all kinds of other ways that he can do the tariffs as well. It just takes longer to get it worked out.
Well, we're talking about 66% of the tariffs, or $175 billion, Dave, is what cannot be collected anymore out of the $320-ish billion. So it's a huge hit. They're going to go around this, and President Trump said immediately in his speech that they're going to add 10% tariffs on top of all existing tariffs. And then one day later on last Saturday, he said, We're going to 15%.
Yep.
The world's retaliating. The EU is saying we don't agree with that. It said a deal is a deal, according to Reuters. There is what the European Commission is saying. President Trump says, this is what we're going to do. And so we have this big impasse. So I think the bottom line is the Supreme Court brings up more questions than answers. How are we going to have to pay back that tariff money? Who gets paid? Do corporations get paid? Does the manufacturer get paid? Do you and I get paid? Because it costs us money. How do they even quantify that and even document that? Will this new tariffs, will we have another lawsuit? Will the Supreme Court have to have another ruling? But I think the biggest question is this, and I think there's a few more. First of all, how much will the deficit balloon because of this? But the biggest question is this. Tariffs, what happened, just gave the green light to BRICS. Now we have no control over that. The usage of selling oil in outside of the dollar or other commodities, because that's what this big tariff ruling was about. So we're not going to be able to control BRICS through tariffs anymore. That's the unfortunate thing. I don't know if we could have controlled them anyway because they have their own financial system. But this is why you're going to see the dollar get into more trouble because of what this ruling was. It wasn't a good ruling for our country. And I don't think the Supreme Court really thought through this to the very end on how.
I agree with you. They didn't follow their logic to its logical conclusion. That's exactly what they did not do.
The financial implication is the key.
It's going to be tough. David's got a couple of papers you should be looking at. One is the Golden Era that has a silver lining. He wrote it. You should read it. And BRICS, you just referred to BRICS a moment ago, the new financial system that could dethrone the U.S. dollar as the global reserve currency. You need to read that as well. You can read them for free by calling in and asking for a copy of them. 844-604-2575. Again, that number is 844-604-2575, or go to Landmark Gold. That's one word, landmarkgold.com. David, it's always a pleasure. I just wish the news was so much more better than it just hasn't been.
Well, I think President Trump has some cards, quote, up his sleeve, and I think things are going to get better, but maybe not the debt and maybe not the dollar, but other areas might get better, and that's the hope of many things. So we'll keep listeners informed. Thanks for having me.
All right, so buckle your seatbelt. The ride could get rough for a while. All right, David. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We'll have you on again next week. We'll look forward to talking to you. Got to get a break in. Let's do that. Then we'll come back and get ourselves ready for the news at the bottom of the hour.
Hey now, if you've got mice, they're having a great time. So if you see one, you can bet there's two. And where there's two, and baby doesn't just make three, it's more like 5 or 6. So if you hear them getting down inside your walls, call the Bug Man at 663-9464 or go to bugman.com.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. a neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
The Dave Ellswick Show is back. 101.1. The Answer.
Back with you, the Dave Ellswick Show, 27 minutes after 8 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. Got a good show coming up still here the rest of this morning, and you won't want to miss any of it. We're going to, who's coming up at 8:35 here, Val? Who's coming up at that time? Okay, so I'll have time to look at the big stories, and we'll do that then in the next half hour. Kim Hammer is coming in at 9:05, and then we're supposed to have. Oh, he's coming in at 9:30. Okay, so Senator Bozeman is coming in at 9:05. Correct? Okay. Now she's not talking about Senator Bozeman. She's talking about his handler. That's the she's talking about. Yeah. Just understand that. And then at 10 o'clock, Matt Smith will be here, and he'll be with us for an hour. I know he's coming. I talked with him by text last night, and he said, I'll be there. So when he says he'll be here, he'll be here. When he says he won't be here, he isn't. He's somewhere like in Vegas or out in the island somewhere in the Atlantic or whatever. He does a lot of that type of traveling. But, I'm looking forward to hopefully talking to Senator Bozeman, because I know we get a lot of farmers that listen to the show, and he's the chairman of the Ag Committee in the Senate, and he can tell them things that a lot of other people don't even deal with. So he'll be talking to us during that half hour coming up at, I think you said on the top of the hour, right? 9:05. So we'll look forward to getting him. And then Kim Hammer coming into the studio until 10. And then after Kim is on, expect that you'll be hearing from Matt Smith. So that's the rest of the show for this morning. That's coming your way. All right. Yesterday, it came out that Iran is again not really negotiating in good faith. They're not dealing with the major issues.
Imagine that.
Imagine that the president wants to deal with. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about that with David. First and foremost is no nuclear weapons, and they still are trying to enrich uranium as we speak. And then the other thing is stop your ballistic missile program, where they're trying to develop a missile technology that can reach into the United States. We can't allow them to do that either. They have to understand their place in the world, and if they don't accept it, then we'll have to give them an offer they can't refuse. I mean, that's what it comes down to. All right, news, let's get to it here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
States underway today in Geneva. Bill and Hillary Clinton are set to testify starting today in the congressional Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Sizing up the U.S. economy, the International Monetary Fund says it is poised for accelerated growth and lower joblessness this year. At the same time, though, the IMF expresses concern about massive federal debt. And artificial intelligence chip maker NVIDIA has witnessed another quarter of astounding growth in revenue and profits. More details, srnnews.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-936-5496.
Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Nick Bronny. Appointed to the court by Governor Sarah Sanders, Justice Bronny believes in the rule of law and the Constitution, and his conservative record proves it. He has protected religious liberty, the Second Amendment, and girls' sports. He also upheld Arkansas's voter ID law. He does not legislate from the bench. He only interprets the law. Call Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Nick Bronny and thank him for defending our Constitution. Paid for by New Generation, Inc.
America is at a tipping point. To ensure we stay the land of the free and home of the brave, you need to be informed and engaged. That's why we're here. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. This radio station is always on, but sometimes you need more content that you can take with you anywhere. That's why we invented the SalemPodcastNetwork.com. You'll find all the great hosts on this radio station, plus a few more, like Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, Trish Regan, Jenna Ellis, and Dennis and Julie. There's literally no end to what we can teach you. It's like radio on demand, and just like radio, it's always on. Go find out what you're missing. Download the app, SalemPodcastNetwork.com. 101.1 The Answer. 101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We may see the sun occasionally today, but mainly clouds. High of 68. Same clouds tonight in 53. Then sunshine to end the work week on Friday and a high of 70.
The conservative voice of Arkansas. The Dave Ellswick Show. On 101.1, The Answer.
All right, back with you, Dave Ellswick Show. Let's look at some of the big news stories that are out there that we should be dealing with right now and checking into right now, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world.
Did you see the one that I just sent you? Oh, this infuriates me, Dave.
What's going on? I haven't seen it. I'm looking at other things.
The trans Congress man, in our Congress says, I felt uncomfortable and disrespected as a woman at Trump's State of the Union. First of all, you're a man. You're not a woman. And this is the crazy that Trump's talking about. Like, he's literally still a man in Congress, playing like he's a woman in Congress.
Yeah, it's Halloween for him. I agree.
But you know how infuriating that is for women, for actual real women? Because they're like, oh, he's a woman in Congress, or she's a woman. No, it's a man still. Just like any other man that takes a woman's place, a job. You're still a man. Like, that's such a slap in the face. And it just infuriates me. I don't care if you want to dress up. That's not my thing. Like, I don't care what you want to do with your life, but do not make statements like this, or like with Bud Light. Don't try to, and the Nike, don't try to sell me a bra from a man.
Yeah.
Playing like a woman.
Don't try to sell me a beer like a woman and you're a man.
I mean, actual women can play those roles, like, why?
I agree.
You're a man taking a woman's job.
I agree with that too.
That's the part that infuriates me. Like, I don't care if you want to wear a beard and makeup, but you're taking a woman's job.
Yeah, we really I don't mind if somebody wants to dress up like you're going to a costume party,
Right.
but don't think that you can walk into where you work at and dress like that, and the management won't say anything to
Do you remember the one that was in Biden's, the bald woman thing that wore all these fancy pantsuits?
It's in jail now.
Yeah, because he was stealing people's clothes from the airlines.
Yeah.
Like he was literally picking up, he would spot women that he liked the way they dressed, and he would steal their luggage. Like he would watch them put it, and then when they got on the same plane, he would steal their luggage.
Yep.
And that's how he got all those fancy designer clothes.
And that's why he's cooling his heels in a jail cell.
But he's a he.
Right now. Yeah, it is a he. That's why I always call him he's. I think it's ridiculous that the AP changed their style book and said if a person is identifying as another sex, you should use that correct pronoun for that sex. No, they're not that sex. Doesn't it drive people crazy? It does me that you'll be reading a article and they start off calling the person he, and then like into the third paragraph, suddenly they're saying she. That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It just makes no sense. Anyway, over the next few days, what we're going to be seeing is what did the American people think of the president's State of the Union address? And according to CNN viewers, 64% of the speech watchers say President Trump's policies will move the country in the right direction. As we look at State of the Union viewers, it's worth pointing out that those who sat through it were more likely to be people who voted for the president. Still, because you who didn't vote for him, you don't want to even consider that the world is not linear with what you believe, that it just is running parallel with you. It's because it's not. It isn't. Most people don't put up with all of this trans crap. Most Americans do not want to put up with all of this immigration crap. They like and they voted for Trump a couple of years ago because that's what they wanted. So you look at these viewers, what are they pointing at? What are they telling us about what they're thinking? So we saw a movement that is notable. Ed Morrissey wrote in Hot Air, Trump picked up 10 points during the speech among those watching, which at least indicates affirming of support among the GOP base. Now, there have been a lot of stories being written saying that people were abandoning Trump. Well, that's not true. They just needed Trump to say what he believed and what he was going to do, and they're right back in his column again. As analysts point out, that has pushed Trump back into his usual post-State of the Union position on policy support, and that could definitely matter when it comes to midterm turnout, assuming that momentum can be sustained. It does not, however, measure public response to the speech in a predictive manner in terms of support in the overall electorate. That they're not trying to tell us, that Republicans can turn out in droves to vote for Trump, or conservatives are. Trump did move the needle, and that's significant, but red meat for the base is not an inaccurate context for that measurement. You just got to be careful. The president now has got to go out on the campaign trail. I mean, we don't want him to, not pay attention to what's going on in America, what's going on with his fellow citizens. But I do want him out on the campaign trail and talking to the American people and explaining what he's doing and why he's doing it, and then show a good significance that it's paying off. If he does that, I think we'll be all right in the fall. I think the Democrats hurt themselves when they wouldn't stand at all for anything. They wouldn't stand for, kids that had been, killed by illegal aliens. They wouldn't stand for the USA hockey team. They didn't stand for hardly anything.
And you know what Democrats say? Well, that's because they know Trump's full of crap. Okay, what does all those people that you just said have anything to do with Trump?
Yeah.
You're literally not standing for your country because you have hatred for the man that got elected by your country.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're mad. They're mad and upset because people didn't choose them. And clearly, it's so very clear that they still have not figured out why they lost the 2024 election.
Well, they don't think that those 80-20 issues that they're on the 20% side of are the issues that people are voting on. And they are. They are the issues that people are voting on. Look, it's 80-20 when you look at immigration. It's 80-20 when you look at transgenderism. It's 80-20 when you look at a lot of other different issues that are affecting the United States. And I'm going to tell you what, sitting on your keister and not standing up and saying that, I believe that Congress should be doing everything in their power to make life better for Americans and not illegals, that you sit down during that, I think that you caused yourself a whole lot of hurt. I'm hoping we'll see that in a lot of commercials over the summer going into the fall.
Like Senator Fetterman, he said
the dancing
he was
frog.
one of the only Democrats to stand up for the young lady that got her neck slashed, and Erica Kirk at Trump's Day of the Union. Even Erica Kirk, can't we just be more kind to the widow? How come we can't acknowledge that? I clap for the family that lost the Ukrainian girl, the Venezuelan political prisoner, the veterans. I'll always clap for things I agree with, like striking the Iranian cities. If I don't agree with something, I'm certainly not going to yell and scream and disrupt the whole thing. And, again, they have yet to figure out why they lost that election. And, he's the reason. He's what the Democratic Party once was to me, before the crazy LGBT trans and illegal immigrant thing took over the party, and before pronouns and cisgender controlled everything that party does. Like, that's what it was when I was a young liberal. And this is why the left and the Democrat, that's why I left them, because they were nuts. They're crazy. Trump is exactly right.
You didn't leave them. They left you.
That's true. But he's literally one of the only people that are still like the way that it was when I was in the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Well, in refusing to stand for American heroes and policy positions that are 80-20 issues, that they're on the 20% side, they may have given a gift to the GOP that keeps on giving. When you layer in the behavior of Omar and Tlaib, Democrat consultants have got to be cringing, well aware that they'll be seeing a screening Omar all the way through November. They should have been removed. Speaker Johnson explains why he didn't. We could have probably objected them, send them out from the floor because they were wearing profanity, F ice and whatever. But I thought, let them show their actions. Let their actions speak for themselves. The president handled it so well, of course, and if they're gone a step further, we probably would have ejected them. But I think it was good for them to be there. I think it's good for the American people to see the shame that they brought upon their party and themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
And she says that she's like, I said what I said. I had to remind Trump that his administration was responsible for killing 2 of my constituents. Let's get one thing straight, lady. One of those weren't your constituents. She still had Missouri tags on her car. She was more like your employee. They were couch surfing.
Yeah. Veteran Democratic operative Mark Penn, if you've been around politics for any length of time since the Clintons and Obama, you know that Mark Penn was one of those operatives that worked for Clinton, and Obama had this to say. He says, how times have changed. Trump gave an artful and moving speech illustrating his policies with a parade of hero Americans from all walks of life. probably his best speech framing his domestic and foreign policies. In contrast, the Democrats were reduced to catcalls and slogans with curse words, inappropriate for kids. They look silly, they look small, while Trump hit big, lofty goals and evoked emotion through the stories of real people.
They looked immature.
You know, Mark Hemingway said, I cannot believe Democrats fell hook, line, and sinker for Trump's message. Refusing to stand for the statement that we should support citizens over illegal aliens was a giant gift to GOP candidates in the midterms. Omar and Tlaib angrily yelling back is just the icing on the cake. And what were they yelling? Well, now that we know that when they were chanting USA in the chamber, they were chanting KKK.
Yeah.
So if you are a patriot, if you're patriotic about your country, that's like being you putting on your sheet and putting on your hood and burning crosses in other people's yards.
Knowing Tlaib's probably sitting at home saying death to Israel.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
She's
sure.
Palestinian.
I'm sure.
Every minute of that Democratic response to the State of the Union was complete garbage. It was garbage. If you bought
here's what the American people, because they can look through this.
Yeah.
That was nothing but lie after lie after lie. That's all it was.
And then there was the Spanish version of the response after the Democrats refused to stand up when Trump stated that the only job of this country is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Like, those Democrats, to me, should have been removed from office. But I want to point out that a local person of mine said something to me. Again, the same person I was talking about yesterday said she spoke the truth. You can fact check everything, and gas prices are not down. Anyway, that one. But so we went on to talk about
gas prices are down.
That's what she said.
Oh,
but then
so full of crap.
She's the one that said something about the coffee at Sam's being $22. But
that's crap as well.
She
must
said
have dyslexia.
But she's one of the ones that were, when we were complaining over when Biden was president, that everything's fine. There's nothing increased. Okay. So then she says, I forgot to mention Marco Rubio gave the Republican response in 2013. He delivered in English and Spanish. Were you outraged then? I said he wasn't promoting F-ICE. He was promoting protecting our borders and not pandering to illegal aliens. Her response, you're joking, right? It's okay with you as long as it's for the right reason. What hypocrisy. Exactly.
It's okay if it's for the right reason.
I was like, what? Yeah, the right reason. What part of that does your brain malfunction on? Like, not illegal aliens over American citizens, legal immigrants.
She is like every person that I've met from the left, and even the ones that are never Trumpers. It doesn't matter what Trump does. It doesn't matter what Trump says. It doesn't matter what fact that we have that we can point out that Biden was a nincompoop.
Right.
The bottom line is they have a world that they've constructed in their own mind.
A fantasy world.
Yeah, it doesn't exist, but
I asked her if she had a traumatic brain injury because, I don't understand the malfunction there. Like, yeah, why else do you do things? Because it's the right thing to do. Like, these people just, and that's crazy because I knew her. I worked with her when I was like 20, and I was in Jonesboro, and I was a young liberal. We were liberals together.
Well, you should have known what you're going to get.
It's crazy.
I don't engage those people anymore.
I do, for the reason he said, let them show who they are.
Well, they do show what they
Exactly.
are. I don't have to help them do that. I mean, all I do when a liberal calls the show, which is very seldom now, because now that I've been on the air for almost 26 years here in this area, they know I'll let you talk.
Yeah.
But they also know that you're standing on the scaffold, and I'm giving you just enough rope that we're gonna pull the handle and drop the floor underneath of you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how it works. I mean, there used to be a guy by the name of George that and George may have passed away by now, but he used to call my show all the time. And the only reason he called was to argue with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time I would put him on was when I thought that it would be like playing a hit record, and so I would put him on and let him say everything that he believed which was the antithesis of what my listeners believed. And, after he got off, I could have sat back and just let my listeners do the show.
Yeah, for real.
And that's just the way that it was. All right, when we come back, we want to talk a little bit about J.D. Vance. That's coming up. He is now going to be out taking care of fraud, waste, and abuse. And he happens to be up in Minnesota for right now is the home of fraud, waste, and abuse. He'll be leaving there and heading to California pretty soon. And, man, it's going to really hit the fan when he gets out there. 8:51, Dave Ellswick Show. It's a Thursday. Hope you have a great day today. And I'll be back with you in just a moment.
On Salem News Channel, principled voices are shaping today's conversation. Scott Jennings brings clarity to the toughest debates. Josh Hammer's blistering commentary puts politics and culture on trial. And Alex Marlowe's insight connects us to what matters most. Watch anytime on Samsung TV Plus, Pluto TV, or find us on your screen at snc.tv. 3 new shows, 1 powerful lineup. Salem News Channel, across America.
Let's be honest. The National Symphony may not be in his future, but he wanted to try violin. So you said yes because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more about keeping your kids safe in your vehicle at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Show him you love him. Keep him safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Doc Washburn. I'm excited to be back on the air in Little Rock. I'm on 4 to 6 p.m. weekdays right here on 101.1 The Answer. And you never know who will be calling in. I did not smoke cigars with that young woman, Miss Lewinsky. Not yet, Bill. The Doc Washburn Show returns to Little Rock thanks to Northside Power, Night Service Company, and the Lord who opened the door, 4 to 6 p.m. weekdays on 101.1 The Answer.
The Dave Ellswick Show continues now. 101.1 The Answer.
All right, back with you. So let's talk about J.D. Vance, the vice president. And we should. And I'm going to tell you what. I don't know who will end up carrying the mantle for the Republicans in 2028. But J.D. Vance would be a good candidate, and so would Marco Rubio.
I think that's going to be the ticket.
Well, if it is, it's going to have to be Vance as president and Rubio as vice president, because Vance is not going to come in and run for vice president again.
Well, he can't, can he?
Yeah. He can.
Oh, yeah, because it's only one term. I keep forgetting.
All right. Vice President Vance said that he's decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding that's going to the state of Minnesota in order to ensure that the state of Minnesota takes its obligations seriously to be good stewards of American people's tax money. No kidding. There's nothing worse than seeing a bunch of money going out of your paycheck every couple of weeks and then hearing about the ridiculous things that it's being spent on by giving it to common thieves. That just drives you crazy. Becca Lower at Red State, that's owned by Salem Broadcasting on it's one of the websites out there. That's a news website. During Tuesday's State of the Union address, President Trump announced that Vice President J.D. Vance will be leading a whole of government effort to clean up fraud, especially in blue states led by Democrats like Minnesota. Then, on Wednesday, the Vice President and Administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Oz, spoke at a press conference about that effort. The Vice President didn't mince words, stating that Americans being taken advantage of in this way is over. Absolutely. You and I should not be thought of as stooges that they can just take money from us and give it to a bunch of criminals. That's stopping today, he said. We're taking a whole of government approach in the Trump administration to take this fraud seriously, he said. All right, so we'll watch and we'll see how they go after people, and we'll also see who they throw their butts in jail. I mean, that's the key. I like our AG because Tim Griffin has put quite a few people behind bars because of Medicaid and Medicare fraud, and rightly so. They're good programs if they're administered in a good way. And that oversight is very, very important. All right, coming up, hopefully we'll be hearing from Senator John Boozman.
Nope. I got an email. So this is a busy time with lots of committee work and constituent meetings to juggle. So we're trying to squeeze in these interviews between those. And sometimes it gets tricky. Dana will circle around with some future opportunities, but he cannot make that time slot today, actually, again, as of now.
Okay.
Sorry about that, y'all.
That's, I understand. Work is work. I want them to be doing their work. Kim Hammer coming up at 9:35.
Yep.
Yeah, we moved him to 9:35. Do you have his number?
Kim, no, I don't.
Okay, I got it. I'll give it to you here in just a moment. You can ask him if you want to come in a little early and be with us. All right, so Senator Boozman has had to go for meetings, so that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk.
No, he's busy.
We'll be back, and we'll do more in just a moment. Right now, the news on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Find us at 1011fmtheanswer.com. Download our app, stream us 24/7, or watch us at snc.tv. KDXE, Kamek Village, Little Rock.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. Amit Thomason. Underway today in Geneva, it's a third round of indirect nuclear talks between Iran and the United States. We know the Cuban government's version of what happened. Secretary of State Rubio says the U.S. is conducting its own investigation. Havana says a boat from Florida opened fire on its forces, triggering a gunfight that killed 4 people on the boat.
The Cuban government says 10 people on a speedboat in waters off its northern coast were armed Cubans who'd been living in the U.S. It alleges the group have a known history of criminal and violent activity and were trying to infiltrate the island when they opened fire. Cuba's Interior Ministry says its forces responded, killing 4 of them. 6 others were wounded and detained. At a Caribbean summit, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said it was not a U.S. government operation. Both Homeland Security and the U.S. Coast Guard are investigating, trying to determine if those involved are American citizens or permanent residents. I'm Ben Thomas.
Bill and Hillary Clinton are set to testify starting today in the congressional Jeffrey Epstein investigation.
Hillary Clinton will testify first, followed by Bill Clinton on Friday. It will mark the first time that lawmakers have compelled a former president to testify. The Clintons agreed after facing the threat of a contempt charge. There's no evidence of wrongdoing on the part of either Clinton when it comes to Epstein, a convicted sex offender, but Epstein had ties to the former president for years. Clarkston, Washington.
Instagram plans to start alerting parents if their kids repeatedly search for terms clearly linked with suicide or self-harm. However, the alerts will only go to parents enrolled in Instagram's parental supervision program. The Dow is up 162 points, on the NASDAQ 181 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. A lot of us are thinking about taxes, home projects we've been putting off, ways to get ahead financially in 2026. Now's the perfect time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. If you want to lower your mortgage payment, they can help you refinance. If you need access to cash for home improvements or to wipe out high-interest debt, their fixed-rate line of credit is one of the best tools out there. Fast approval, predictable rate, and flexibility to use your home's equity wisely. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. Imagine starting big projects or paying down debt with 2 months of breathing room. My family and I have used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Take control of 2026. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE. That's 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
North Korea's dictator warns his country could destroy South Korea if the North's security is threatened. At the same time, he leaves the door open for dialogue with the U.S.
These words from Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader, came as he was wrapping up this 7-day party congress. We also heard this rare message from North Korean leader where he directly addressed United States. He said that the United States and North Korea can get along as long as they agree that North Korea is a nuclear power. There has been a lot of speculation that the two leaders, Kim Jong-un and President Donald Trump, could possibly meet when President Donald Trump visits Asia in April when he visits Beijing.
The BBC's Jay Kwan in Seoul. Police in Kenya say they've arrested a man named in the alleged scheme that duped Kenyans with promises of skilled work in Russia that saw them wind up on the front lines of the fighting in Ukraine. News and analysis, townhall.com. Everything you always wanted to know about why sneakers squeak on the basketball court.
Scientists slid a shoe against a smooth glass plate over and over, filming it and recording the squeaking sounds with a microphone. As the shoe works hard to keep its grip, the sole changes shape thousands of times per second as it momentarily loses and then regains contact with the floor at a frequency that matches the pitch of the loud squeak we hear. These insights can help scientists understand essential questions about friction, which has important practical applications. The study was published Wednesday in the journal Nature. Keith Peters, Washington.
Artificial intelligence chipmaker NVIDIA has seen another quarter of astounding growth. Fiscal fourth quarter revenue surged by 73% from the previous year to $68.1 billion, while its profit nearly doubled. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Larry Elder explains how prices come down.
GDP growth last quarter, 4.4%, 4.3%. People's incomes are rising faster than inflation. Everything is driven by gas prices. Everything has to be transported. So when people are paying far less now for gas than they were 5 years ago, it is a huge, huge boost to the wallet. And I think Trump deserves a lot of praise for this.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 6, right before Hugh Hewitt at 9 on 101.1. The Answer.
All right, Kim Hammer is on his way. He'll join us a little bit earlier than at 9:35. He'll be here at about 9:20, 20-ish here on the Dave Ellswick Show. So we'll talk to him. He wants to be Secretary of State, and he wants to come on and talk about that. So we will talk about it here in studio, not very long from now. And then at 10:05, Matt Smith will be here, and he'll be on for the hour. And, Matt and I will talk about movies and what's going on streaming as well as on television. And then we'll probably get on to some things that I have a funny feeling Matt will want to say something about the way the Democrats acted at the State of the Union. Really, it's pretty crazy. What went on during the State of the Union. All right, so let me go back now and talk about news type items as we're looking at what the president is doing right now as he's watching Iran. He's keeping his eye on them. And so's the Joint Chiefs of Staff and everybody else in the media as well. So I talked to you about, I think the Democrats may have handed the Republicans a gift the way that they acted at the State of the Union address. It's just like when Pelosi tore up the president's speech, showing her butt, and that's something I don't want to get in my mind. Here,
showing her butt.
Yeah, let me shake that out of my head as fast.
Well, let me shake it out for you. Hillary's supposed to be in her deposition today about Epstein and Bill tomorrow.
Yeah, she will be lying her butt off.
Oh yeah, talking about showing your butt.
So here we go. We got
another vision I don't want.
Yeah, I agree. I had talked a little bit about this during the time that we had David Fisher on about how the Trump administration is going to reconstruct tariff efforts in wake of the Supreme Court decision. And he hasn't wasted any time on that. The Trump administration said yesterday it's going to reconstruct its trade system with, quote, very durable, unquote, duties that penalize nations for unfair practices, one day after President Trump told Congress that import levies would remain front and center in his midterm year economic agenda. Mr. Trump said in his State of the Union address that lawmakers' input on tariffs would not be necessary. Take that, Rand Paul. As he deploys a grab bag of executive authorities to backfill tariffs struck down by the Supreme Court last week. U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer began filling in the details of that plan Wednesday. He said the loss at the Supreme Court would not prevent the administration from reconstructing the tariffs and keeping foreign deals in place. Mr. Greer said the U.S. has identified numerous violations under Section 301, including the use of forced labor. We can apply tariffs against countries like China and others that use forced labor, read that slavery, to build and to take care of countries' economies. And industrial overcapacity that floods other nations with excess goods. I know this might be a stretch for some people to understand, but it's like Canada. Back in, I think it was might have been started in the 80s and went through the 90s. The steel companies in Canada were producing more steel than they could use in Canada, and they didn't have a market in Canada to buy that steel. So they dropped the price. They bottomed out the price and sold it to companies in the U.S. Well, that was a planned way of doing things. And the United States got into a big steel war with Canada about that. Mr. Greer told Fox Business Mornings with Maria that, quote, it's a very detailed public process that allows the president to put in place very durable tariffs under existing law. And you're going to hear him talk about what these countries are doing and why we are hitting them with those tariffs. The president recently issued a 10% global tariff under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974, and he is working to raise that rate to 15%. So there's all kinds of ways to do this, and some of the Republicans in Congress that were able to get this in front of the Supreme Court and have kind of screwed the pooch. You know, if we didn't have so many people that thought that their way was the only way, the Republican Party might do better, just might do better. But that's just not the way we flow. We don't do that. We do things so that, the other side can come in and throw a switch and get us on the wrong tracks and things of that nature.
Did you see where Hochul is demanding $13.5 billion refund for New Yorkers after this? Why are these people why are they like they don't read the opinion clearly? They don't go to consumers.
Here's the other thing.
It goes to exporter or the importers.
Here's the thing. Even if it did, all right, she has no idea how much those people have paid.
Oh, a Yale budget lab estimate showing the average household paid $1,700 in additional costs.
You just used the hot word.
But they didn't say who they passed it on to or who they didn't.
Estimates.
Right.
All right. That's the whole.
But the point is it's not, even if he wanted to, he couldn't do that because it goes to the importer. The importer gets the money. And the sad part is that I've seen, and the sad part is they keep doing this. Either they're really dumb and they don't know how the economy or tariffs work, or they're doing this because they know that Democrats that follow them like sheep are dumb and they're going to keep chanting this like they do Epstein. But because I've seen people do it now. And I'm like, read the opinion. It's all in the opinion.
Yeah.
It goes to the importers.
And I have just explained to everybody that there's other ways that those tariffs will stay in place.
They will. But these importers are making billions now in profits, thanks to SCOTUS.
All right. Well, Thune, I want to move on to another issue now. Thune is wanting to force votes on the Save America Act, which I really like. And he's doing it for a reason I think is a good enough reason, and that's to make Democrats go on the record against American citizens.
Yeah.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune announced that he will force a floor vote on the SAVE Act, and we've been trying to get this done for 2 weeks now, requiring proof of citizenship to vote in federal elections. That's a constitutional requirement. Only citizens get to vote in federal elections.
And now we'll be able to see who voted against it instead of it doesn't get voted on or recorded.
So they're going to put every Democrat on the record before the midterms. Catherine Salgado, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, she said confirmed on Fox News that he will be forcing a vote on critical election integrity legislation, making Democrats go on the record opposing the most basic measures to prevent fraud. I mean, showing an ID is the most basic thing, seriously, that you can do. On Wednesday, the day after Trump delivered his State of the Union address, which included promotion of the Save America Act, Thune went on Fox News. And on America's Newsroom, Aisha Hasni asked Thune about forcing a vote on the legislation which would require proof of citizenship to register for voting and to vote. And he replied, quote, "We will put the Democrats on the record." Elon Musk has been pushing the use of the old school filibuster. Quoting Elon Musk, "The filibuster rule is meant to allow senators to present their arguments before a bill is passed. It is not intended to require 60 votes to pass anything at all." Musk said on social media, "Stop the abuse of the filibuster now. Either senators must talk or they must pass the bill to save America." And that was directly out of the Federalist magazine.
Good.
All right, 9:16. We'll get a break in, and hopefully Kim Hammer will be showing up here any moment now to be joining us about his run for Secretary of State here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Of the day. Not to tell you what to think, but to allow you to have the most information so you can make up your mind. 101.1, The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Did you hear Congressman French Hill on the Dave Ellswick Show?
Well, that's always been the case, and it's why the coddling of the Obama administration just strengthened the Iranians. The Ayatollah, Reuters reported, ended up with $1 billion net worth from this simple cleric in Tehran, and they funded through their oil sales massive terrorism through Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas, leading ultimately to the horrific murders and mayhem in Syria, Lebanon, and the horrible attacks on October 7th. So Iran is a terrible state actor on terrorism. Trump has sent the Abraham Lincoln carrier group there to just send notice that we want, obviously, peaceful transit of the oil in the Strait of Hormuz, and, to keep them in check.
Don't miss Congressman French Hill, Wednesday mornings on 101.1 The Answer. 101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We may see the sun occasionally today, but mainly clouds. High of 68. Same clouds tonight in 53. Then sunshine to end the work week on Friday and a high of 70.
You can watch the show right now. The Dave Ellswick Show is streaming live on Facebook. This is 101.1 The Answer.
I like that. It's going to be sunny for the last day of the week. Get me ready for the weekend. Gotta love that.
I have nice weather wait, it's supposed to rain. I didn't hear that part. It's supposed to rain Saturday?
I don't know. I can look here. I can tell you.
I guess I can too.
What's going on.
I want a sunny birthday.
Your birthday is this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you having a surprise party for yourself?
No, a friend is coming to town and taking me to Sullivan's.
Sullivan's what?
Steakhouse.
Oh, okay. Downtown, huh?
No, it's over on the promenade.
Oh, in the promenade now? I didn't know that.
I'm going to get me one of those rotted meat steaks.
Okay, you're gonna
I love me some Sullivans.
get you one of those tomahawks.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And yeah, buddy, I could just eat that.
And then you can start a fight when you get home,
right? Over my dogs.
You bring the bone home and say, okay, fight over it.
One. Yeah, I can't. I have to have two. I have to save that one until I get another one. That's the problem with being only one of me.
Put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
That's what I have to do.
All right. Anyway, looking at what's going on in other news, let's talk about one last thing here because we're going to be coming down on news here any moment here. After a dip in January, the change is modest for the consumer price index, but its movement is in a good direction. The American consumer's confidence in the U.S. economy improved slightly in February, but it's still under 8, which is, that's kind of like the number they like it to sit on or a little bit higher. After it cratered a month earlier, and I have beliefs about why it cratered in January, because you just got done doing all your Christmas shopping, and that has depleted your savings. That's depleted your checking account,
right?
And you look at it and you go, oh crap,
I got to back off a little bit.
Yeah, so that says you're not going to be too happy. It's just like after in February, it typically goes up a little bit because why? Well, because in Christmas time, you got gift cards and all kinds of stuff. Now you're going out and using those gift cards,
right, and
having a good time. So there's a lot of different factors that go into these numbers. But
they also pushed everything so early this year that people were buying stuff earlier.
Well, they got to push it early. I've been saying ridiculous. This for years. If you got kids, you got to start buying Christmas in early November to be able to afford it.
November, they were pushing it in like September. They started putting Christmas stuff out while it was still hot out. Like it was literally Christmas cartoons, Christmas, the ornaments for the trees and stuff. Yeah, in September. So you can't. It didn't used to be that way. It used to be that it started coming out after Halloween. And then you have Thanksgiving as the Black Friday, but Black Friday started way before Thanksgiving.
Hey, look, I remember when Christmas decorations went up after Thanksgiving.
Right. And now they go up after Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you got a longer period of time that people are shopping and they don't have to shop in December or November.
As far as decorations go, Halloween only trails Christmas.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah. I can't believe it trails it though.
Yeah,
I love Halloween.
Trails. Well, I can understand why, just December and Christmas would lead the way. The conference board said Tuesday that its consumer confidence index rose to 91.2 in February from an upwardly revised 89 last month. A measure of how Americans' short-term expectations for their income, business conditions, and the job market rose 4 points to 72, remaining well below 80. The marker that signals a recession ahead. We're not going into a recession. It's the 13th consecutive month. See, this is a carryover. This is like a really bad hangover is what it is. It's a hangover from the Biden administration. And we're trying to work our way out of it, but Biden screwed the pooch so bad that it's just taken a long time to turn the American economy, which is like turning the Queen Mary around, not a motorboat. And it takes time to turn a ship that big around. According to the conference board's February survey, consumers' plans to buy big-ticket items over the next 6 months rose, with plans to buy used cars, furniture, TVs, and market smartphones leading the way. Home buying expectations were little changed in February, generally a slow time for the housing market, and That's normal. And then you just got the higher interest rates that we have and things of that nature. All right. I see Kim Hammer standing out in the hallway, so we'll get him to slide on in. I'm going to sit you right there at the end there, Kim, if that's all right with you. Thanks for putting your pedal down on the accelerator. We got the news that the senator couldn't join us.
If he would have got a ticket, we would blame it on you, Dave.
Yeah, just before we got to the top of the hour. So, well, we got a hold of you when we could. Good to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Okay.
Uptown. This is swanky, buddy.
Yeah, it is swanky. I thought the tower was swanky, but this is really nice what they put us in.
Yeah,
I like it.
It is nice, very nice.
Like it a lot. And look, they even gave me the clock I've been asking for. I got a countdown clock now.
Yeah, but does it matter?
Yeah, it does. Although I miss the news all the time anyway.
Oh well.
So that's the way it goes. Yeah. Well, that's kind of what we paid for.
You get me talking though, and I missed the mark.
We're paid for doing that.
I don't.
That's what we're doing. What have you been up to? I mean, have you seen every part of Arkansas over the last few months?
I have seen just about every part, but there are still parts to be seen. If I don't get it seen before I get elected, I'll be seeing it after I get elected. Yeah, but it is everything everybody says. You meet a lot of neat people. Seen parts of the state, honestly, that I hadn't seen before. And we got one of the prettiest states and one of the best states to live in the nation, man.
Well, they don't call it the natural state for nothing.
No, and that's one reason we're, number one destination state to move into is because people have realized that, hey, Arkansas is the place to be.
Well-kept secret.
Yes.
And maybe we should have kept it secret for a while longer. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't mind if people want to move in from the West and the East Coast, but just leave your frickin' politics behind.
Which is what I've sometimes failed to understand is if you want to move here because of what you want to escape from, then why would you bring that with you and infect what we have? But,
I think we all don't understand that disconnect.
No. And we're seeing pockets in the state. I think that is becoming the issue is that and maybe that was always the intent in the first place is let's move down there and, or move up there or move over there and let's try to anchor ourselves in and over time, play the long game and we'll just slowly erode what we've worked so hard to get to.
I wonder if they pay them to move here.
They pay them to protest. So,
right.
I don't want to go into conspiracy theory, but,
Well, it's not a conspiracy. It's true.
That isn't a conspiracy theory. George Soros puts out $1 gazillion and they've been saying that they want to get in and investigate them, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. Because it's already a proven fact, I think, that, they ship in protesters, they ship in people to be disruptive. So why would you think anything less than, hey, I'll pay you to relocate? Yeah, which really has an effect on your police departments and your emergency rooms and all kinds of things because more people end up in those areas. Well, nobody goes after the number 5th or number 10th or number 15th state. They go after the number 1 state. So when you're number 1 for destination move-in, when you're number 1 in pro-life, when you're number 1 in affordability, you become the target because that's what people do. They go after number 1. It's so funny. When I came here to work, I remember people in my industry saying, why do you want to go to Arkansas? They don't call them toothbrushes for nothing, and I kind of laughed at that, but I understood what they were saying. But now we are the number 1 destination state to move to. And that's the thing. We're number 1 in a lot of areas. I know you're going to take a break in a minute, but we're number 1 in a lot of areas. Number 1 destination state, number 1 as far as affordability, number 1 in election integrity, security. We are moving in the right direction. I think that's because you've had a generation since 2010 of legislators and governors that, we've all pulled together and talk show hosts that have promoted the message. And as a result of it, we're reaping the benefits of our labor. All right, here's news.
Nuclear talks taking place in Geneva. The Trump administration withholding almost $260 million to the state of Minnesota amid allegations of Medicaid fraud. Deadly gunfire off the northern coast of Cuba involving a speedboat from Florida. Havana says 10 people on board, Cubans living in the U.S., were trying to infiltrate the island. 4 were killed by Cuban agents. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. is investigating. A House committee conducting the Jeffrey Epstein investigation hearing today from Hillary Clinton. Her testimony will be followed by that of former President Clinton. He is due to offer his testimony tomorrow. On Wall Street, the Dow 121 points higher, while the NASDAQ is 209 points lower. More details, srnnews.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. A lot of us are thinking about taxes, home projects we've been putting off, ways to get ahead financially in 2026. Now's the perfect time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. If you want to lower your mortgage payment, they can help you refinance. If you need access to cash for home improvements or to wipe out high-interest debt, their fixed-rate line of credit is one of the best tools out there. Fast approval, predictable rate, and flexibility to use your home's equity wisely. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. Imagine starting big projects or paying down debt with 2 months of breathing room. My family and I have used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Take control of 2026. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE. That's 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Our Senators John Bozeman and Tom Cotton and Representative Rick Crawford are standing up for radio listeners like us by supporting legislation to keep AM radio in cars. They know the value of local radio in times of emergency. Now it's time for Congress to finish the job and pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Learn more at dependonam.com. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
What if you could take 101.1 The Answer with you everywhere? You can. Download the 101.1 The Answer app and stay connected to the voices you trust, live and on demand. Wake up with Dave Ellswick. Stay sharp with Doc Washburn. And hear from national voices like Chris Stegall, Scott Jennings, Hugh Hewitt, Larry Elder, and Mike Gallagher. Breaking news, bold opinions, local insight, national perspective, all in one place, all in your pocket. At work, in the car, on the go. If it matters to Arkansas and America, you'll hear it on 101.1 The Answer. Plus, stream us live anywhere. Catch up on podcasts and never miss a moment. Search 101.1 The Answer in your app store and download it today. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. If things don't change, can you imagine America in 20 years? Scary thought, isn't it? The good news is we have the power to take our nation back. Stay right here for all the information you need. 101.1 The Answer. Dave Ellswick is the conservative voice of Arkansas, and he's back. 101.1 The Answer.
All right, Kim Hammer is here. Kim has been on my show and been a friend of the show for years. I mean, literally years. All right. He's been with me during the time that I've been on here at Salem. He was with me when I was on with Cumulus and when I was on with another business before them. And so I would say probably 15, 16 years.
Ever since 2010, when I got elected into the legislature, you've been having
pretty
me come
good.
on.
That's 16 years.
16.
That's good.
Yep. And you know what, Dave? You are the one show in the Little Rock listening audience that you and I can have a discussion, and we haven't always agreed, and that's okay because sometimes you don't agree. In fact, I think sometimes you don't need to agree in order to keep your edge and keep your sharpness.
Right.
But you have always been very diplomatic in the way in which you approach differences. And I think that's part of what we need today in the environment that we're living in. And you are one show that I hold high respect for. And that's why I'm on your show today, because I hold high respect for you.
Well, I don't run my show like Sherman's March to the Sea. That's what I don't do, which is burn all the crops and, burn all the houses and
scorch earth.
Yeah. Scorch earth philosophy. Yeah. I don't do that because there's too many issues at stake here.
Yeah.
We have allowed, and the Republican Party and conservatives in general have allowed the liberals and the Democrats to have free reign in this country for much, much too long.
Well, and if you look at within the state, in 2010, we began to gain majority. Soon we did gain majority, and then we gained supermajority.
Yep.
Then we gained all the constitutional offices. And so if you look at the time since 2010 until current, which is really just a 16-year history for what we've been able to do as a Republican Party, add to that the lower taxes, the change in educational direction, fighting back against wokeism and all those other things, the accomplishments are great. But unfortunately, sometimes people don't talk about the accomplishments. They want to talk about the other stuff. So
my whole thing that I typically get irritated about is people kind of like dragging their feet. I mean, I'm ready now to get rid of the income tax in Arkansas. And I kind of like this new thing that Americans for Prosperity are doing, where they want to get us down to 3% flat, and then by law they have to cut taxes if the money coming in reaches a certain amount. And I think that's a good way. Now, you're getting out before that big fight's going to happen.
I'm getting out, proud of my history for all the tax cuts that we have taken. And it's not only about tax cuts, but look at like the property. I'm drawing a blank on it. The credit, the land credit.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what we're talking about. But, I think we're up to 600, 650. When I came in, I think it was like in 200.
It's $200.
And so now, we're up to 650 and there's more room to go. So lowering taxes in a responsible way to where we don't want to be like Nebraska, where, they took the plane in for too fast of a landing and had to pull back up. And we don't want to be that state, but as long as we're moving in the right direction and we're advancing tax cuts, getting to the zero level, and then, maintaining it by just continuing to look for ways in which we can save money, it's a good thing.
All right. Well,
the more money we put back in people's pocket, the better the economy, the better it is a family.
All right. You came to me towards the end of the last session, and you said that you were going to make the announcement that you were going to run for Secretary of State. I didn't have enough time to sit with you and talk. Plus, you didn't want to talk about it at the time. But, why this move towards Secretary of State?
This is the answer that I'm giving on the campaign trail, and it's a twofold answer, okay?
I'm going to assume that it's the truthful answer.
Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, otherwise it'd be a lie. And the first part of the answer is going to resonate with some people, and other people are going to like, oh, that guy's blowing it, But, I'm in the ministry, and I believe the Bible teaches God appoints people to their office. He removes them. He builds kingdoms up. He tears them down. I mean, Ultimately, God already knows who's going to be the winner in this race and every race. And so when I live with that philosophy, when I live with that belief, and it's been proven, when I live with that belief, then I don't feel the stress, because I know that ultimately if I've done everything that I can do, maintain, who I am, that I've built a reputation to be, then, ultimately God is going to make the appointment. So I'm running to find out if it's God's will or not. I've got 16 years consecutive in the legislature, being reelected by my people. That doesn't always happen. And I think it's a testimony of the fact that people have believed that I'll do what I say, and I represent what my people want, because I've been elected 16 years consecutively. So why not just find out, is this God's will? And the second thing is, I've got 16 years of experience. A lot of that experience has worked on legislation that has touched the three primary areas of the Secretary of State's office. And I'll have a lot of working relationship with the majority of the legislators that are going to be returning, our governor that's going to be returning, our attorney general that's going to be in place, lieutenant governor. So the relationships are there. And I want to take that 16 years worth of experience and all that relationship and be able to just transition in Secretary of State and continue to what people have elected me for the last 16 years to do, and that is represent the people.
Well, just coming off a little bit from talking about Secretary of State, part of the job of the Secretary of State is the Capitol grounds.
Yes.
Now, Are you still working on the life memorial that they want to build on the grounds of the Capitol?
Yes. So I passed the legislation. In fact, I carried the legislation on the House side when I was in the House. Jason Rapert carried the legislation. He sponsored it on the Senate side for the 10 Commandments. I was the House sponsor that carried it and championed it through on the House side. We got the 10 Commandments. So I sponsored the legislation on the monument to the living, and that's the technical reference for the monument. It is the monument to the unborn. I said living, but it's they live in heaven. The monument to the unborn. And Mary Bentley carried it on the House side. And it has been a turbulent process, but I think it's leveling out now. We are getting it to an affordable level. There'll be some new ideas, renderings that are going to be presented to where it can be achievable. And if we were going to raise the kind of money the first one would have taken, why not have given that to the pregnancy centers? I mean, the first one had a pretty hefty price tag with it. So why not take the difference with whatever we finalize? And, if we're going to raise that kind of money, let's raise it to give to the pregnancy centers. But yes, Capitol grounds and that monument will be pushed through to the completion because God's hand's on it and Satan's hand is trying to destroy it. So, what you put your hand to, don't take it off the plow, keep plowing.
Well, you're not the person that's running that organization. Who's taking care of that? Is that Arkansas Right to Life?
So the money is given to Arkansas Right to Life. They are the recipients of the money, and then it is transferred over to the Secretary of State in their budget and the Capital Arts and Ground Commission, which have been great to work with. They've really been good to work with. Cole's been really great to work with through this process, and they are the ones that have the final decision. Obviously, they ask for input, but ultimately they have the final decision. They have been extremely good to work with to get to the finished product, but the money can be donated to Arkansas Right to Life, earmarked monument to the unborn, and then it is transferred once a month over to Secretary of State, where the money is being held until the final version is given, and then we can begin the work, and it's paid for out of that.
So how is it going? Is that fund filling up some?
It's filling up some, not at the pace, but I'll be honest with you, I would not. It is what I expected up to where we are, but I think once we have that clearly defined revision of what
this is what it's going to look like,
okay, and people can see this is it. This is the price tag. It is reachable. It is affordable. It is a positive reflection of what it was always intended to be, and that was a monument to the unborn that were aborted during the Roe versus Wade era. And when that is finalized, which I would expect would be in the next, 30, 60 days, then I think we will energize people to give toward it, and we'll see it happen.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know.
I will.
We'll talk. We'll put something together and run it and ask for donations.
Yeah. And Amber, the new director for Right to Life, Rose, yes. Everybody knows Rose, what a champion. She's in behind it. Amber's in behind it. We're just all working together as a team to come out with a finished product that God will bless and people will fund.
All right. We need to take a break. Let's go ahead and do that. And when we come back, we'll ask the tough questions here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on the dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Health insurance can be really confusing, but I know somebody who can help you. Tammy Chase owns an independent insurance agency in Maumelle, and she actually takes the time to sit down with you in person and explain everything in plain English. Tammy Chase handles it all. She works with multiple insurance companies, so you're not limited to just one option. Tammy Chase finds what works for your situation and budget. She can help you sign up for Medicaid, too. But here's what really sets Tammy Chase apart. She doesn't just sign you up and then disappear. Tammy and her team are there for you from start to finish. When enrollment periods come up, she helps you review and make changes, even with specialized plans like cancer, heart attack, and stroke coverage. If you're tired of feeling confused about insurance, visit TammyChaseInsurance.com. Trust me, having someone local who actually cares makes all the difference in the world. TammyChaseInsurance.com.
Hugh Hewitt sees us on the verge.
All of the bulletins coming from Israel are that they've gone into their defensive crouch. They've alerted everyone to be ready for conflict. We've got the biggest mass forces that we've had anywhere in the world since prior to the Iraq invasion in 2003. And it doesn't look like Iran wants to actually capitulate on the things it needs to capitulate on.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Circular at 3 on 101.1. The Answer. Now back to the Dave Ellswick Show. 101.1. The Answer.
All right, 9:46. So we got about 13 minutes here left with Kim Hammer, State Senator Kim Hammer. He's still state senator right now until December of this year. Mm-hmm. So are you guys going to have a special session? Do we know whether that's going to happen?
Has not been declared yet. We'll get through the fiscal session, see how we are financially. I would expect, and I would hope, if history repeats itself, that we would we see that the budget is balanced, that we maintain our healthy financial funds so we can remain fiscally sound as a state. Then the discussion about tax cuts, but I anticipate something would be coming because that's historically what we do.
All right. What about the prison?
What about it?
Is the governor coming off of her thoughts that it's got to be where she's saying that they want to build it?
That is the governor's decision. My job as a legislator is the decision to appropriate the money. It is her job and to determine location and to work through the nuances that have been created. And I would not want to speak on behalf of the governor. I don't think that'd be the right thing to do. I will say this. Mm-hmm. We need a prison because we have passed the act that says we're going to hold prisoners that are incarcerated to a higher level, and there's a collision course coming because the law is enacted. We are going to have to hold it accountable. There needs to be a prison. The nuances and the location and all those discussions, I think, should be held, at the discretion of the governor, the board, and the site where it's going to be located.
But instead of prison, shouldn't we do something about the recidivism? I mean, you've got people that go to prison for all these years and they come out and they do the same thing again. We're not rehabilitating these people.
Which is what I think is intended in what we have been trying to push for all along, and that is to give the people the treatment that they need. That's why we need to get them out of the county jails. Although I will tell you, like I think up in Washington County, I toured that jail up there. They're doing a great recidivism program with the inmates, those that are incarcerated up there. And I think that is a good model. It's a short-term model, but yes, they need to be. I mean,
we have shortages, right? And
manpower.
we have people that are in jail for drugs. A lot of people are in jail for drugs, from the fentanyl, the OxyContin, all that stuff. We have a shortage of nurses. We have a shortage of mechanics, plumbers, HVAC. These people need to learn skills because they come out here and they can't get a job because they're a felon.
Well, and that's one of the discussions that future legislators, I think, will have to have, and that is looking at somebody that is a felon and what is the latitude that can be granted in order, if they have proven themselves, to be able to get back into the workforce. And some of those things are going to have to be balanced with the federal requirements as well. However, when you have, whether it be mechanics or whether it be construction workers, heavy equipment operators, are those things that there are avenues that individuals can do. I agree, and that's part of the intent. Let's get them into an environment to where they can get the concentrated skill sets and rehabilitations that's required. So when they come out, they have the best chance. Workforce, we have some institutions, some incarceration facilities where they have work release programs, and I think that's an area where we need to look at expanding too, because people are starving for employees.
And then they go back to but they get out there, they can't find a job, then they go back to doing what they do best, and then they get back and they go right back in the system. But there's a school that I have a plan that instead of one prison, we could build on in each region this facility that's like there's a prep academy in Baldwin County, Alabama, Mobile, and they have HVAC professionals sponsor. They have plumbing companies sponsor. They have construction companies sponsor. When you leave that school at 18 years old, you go out to the world and you already have a job, a skill. We need to employ that in not only our schools to keep these people from selling drugs and getting on the streets and doing the crimes that they're doing, but also in the prisons.
Well, in Saline County, we have the CTE Center, which is exactly along the mile of what you talked about. The students can go, and when they come out, they have certification, even down to some of the medical opportunities that they have,
right?
So that they can fast track into the workforce. Like up in Northeast, I was up in Northeast Arkansas the other day around the steel mills, and they have the programs up there. If I wanted to find a place to go to work fast, I would get involved in that up there, because you can come out at 18, go into that steel mill, and you're making a killing living without any college debt. And if you're smart, the first 10 years of your working career, you could set yourself up for life.
Not have all that debt in college. Not everyone needs to be like English major.
No, there are different needs for different skill sets among different people. We just have to have the pathways to where they can get into the workforce as soon as they can, sooner than later.
Because we let them fester.
Yep.
And that's where they end up.
Yep.
So I think a lot of things need to be changed other than just having a prison.
Sure. All right, Dave, you had tough questions.
Yeah. Let's talk about paper ballots real quick.
Sure.
All right. That's the 800-pound gorilla in the Secretary of State race. You have been vehemently against paper ballots and not going back to paper ballots. Why is that?
A couple of reasons. Number one, the system that we have currently, those machines can be calibrated on the front end so that it can be determined that they are being accurate, and then they be calibrated on the back end. We put so many checks and balances into the current process as far as auditing, and also giving greater authority to the local level that if you want to audit, you already have a paper ballot. When you go in and, I voted the other day, you go in, they check you in, you get your paper ballot stuck in your hand. You go over to the machine, you put it in the machine, you key in what you want. It prints out a paper ballot. I look at it, and lo and behold, on that paper ballot is exactly the way that I voted. If there's a problem, I raise my hand. I tell the poll worker, hey, I got a problem over here. They would come over and look at it, and we have systems in place that can be corrected. But if I look at my paper ballot and I see that my paper ballot is accurate, I go around, I put it in the tabulator, feed it in the tabulator that's not hooked up to the internet, and it counts. And then from there, we get the results on election night. So we have a paper ballot system as it is now. It's just not being talked about in those terms. As a Secretary of State, I'll no longer be a legislator. What I will need to do, and what I will be required to do, and what I will do is whatever the executive orders that come down from the president, because, good chance I might be a 2-term Secretary of State. There'll be a new president coming behind the current president. Right. So I'm not going to say what President Trump, I'm going to say whatever comes down from the executive at the federal level, the president, whoever it is, comes down. That's what I will, as Secretary of State, enforce. But also, whatever our legislature and our governor says, this is what you're going to do, that's what I will do. And so, going back.
And at that point, if there's a difference, then the AG gets to fight it out.
The AG gets to fight it out. My job is to be a facilitator of whatever is given to me as Secretary of State, and that's what I will do. I'll no longer be a legislator, so I will do my job as Secretary of State and honor whatever the executive and whatever our governor and legislature works out.
Secretary of State has in the past has said on my show that there's nothing to keep counties or voting districts from having paper ballots. Would you try to stand against that if they wanted to go to paper?
I won't have the authority to stand against it. And also, they can do that now, and I've not been an obstructionist other than I said in legislation I passed, is if you move away from this system and you are one of 75 counties or you are two of 75 counties, then you can pay for it, because why should everybody else have to pay for a decision that goes against the majority? And with regards to paper ballots, the one question I always ask everybody, and it kind of puts a quiet hush in the room, is show me election in Arkansas in the last 20 or 30 years, that it has been documented and factually supported that an election has been stolen through the current system that we have, and nobody can do that. And go back and show me a candidate that says my election was stolen, and it has been proven for a fact in Arkansas that that is what has actually happened. And if you can't do that, now you got to ask yourself the question, then what's wrong with what we've got? As far as the president executive order that's coming down now, I'll be fully compliant with it. And as far as birth certificates or whether it's passports or whatever, I think those are great things. And modifying the current machine system that we've got, fine. But I will do whatever is passed down to me, because my job will not be a legislator. My job will be Secretary of State, and that's what I'll do.
How come it's so secretive who owns those machines? Like, how can we not find out who owns them?
I think it's evident who owns them. The big issue is they want to crack them open. But again, I would go back.
Who owns them?
Well, you've got a couple of companies out there.
But who owns those companies?
They're private held companies.
Right. So nobody knows.
Nobody knows. But what we have.
That's the part that's frightening to me.
Well, but
that's like every other company who's privately owned.
Who owns your laptop?
They're not running our elections.
Who owns your laptop?
Me.
No. Who made your laptop?
Mac.
Right.
Who works for Mac?
That's not an election integrity problem, though.
But it is an
issue. It is an issue that goes across the board.
It's not. I can.
No. You can't.
It's not so secretive that who owns the election.
No, you can't do that, Val. You can't change the.
I don't need to know who manufactured it. I want to know who owns it.
How do you know what they put in there and what they didn't put in there?
Then that's the problem.
Okay, then.
That's the problem.
You're going to quit using your laptop? You're going to quit using your laptop?
I'm not running for office. It's not election integrity. No. Yeah. I'm not trying to sway someone to cheat.
Right. But to that point, let me say this. Those machines are calibrated on the front end. Our local officials that are elected, they calibrate those machines. They run the tests on the machines in order to determine that what they have fed in is what comes out before they're ever made available to the public.
Can I go back and ask for my vote?
Can you go back and ask for your vote? After
the elections are over, can I go back and ask for my receipt to see what was tallied?
Can you go back and ask for mine?
I mean, I want to know. Can I go back and ask for mine?
Well, you should.
To make sure that it was tallied correctly.
Well, yes, you can call. If you want to call for an audit of the paper ballot,
right.
You can call for an audit of the paper, maybe not a citizen, but the local elected officials.
So I can't go and say, I want to see my vote after whoever won the election. I can't go back and say, I want to see what my actual vote was then.
But if the tally matches what was in there, why would you have to see yours? Because
I don't know if it matches at that point.
But
after the vote is counted, I should be able to see what was counted. Right?
Here's what I've said about all of this. There is never going to be a perfect system that answers every question that you're bringing up.
But I should be able to see, if you can print out a paper ballot there while I'm there, I should be able to go back and see it again after the election.
But when you see that paper ballot that comes out of the machine, you look at what it is there, and then it's put into the tabulator.
But I want to see it after to make sure that nobody cheated.
But then it would be the same. It would be the same tabulators that would be used anyway. Anyway, there you go.
I got to get out of here because we got news. We got to get to the news. It's coming up. Kim, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome, Dave. Thanks for the opportunity, man.
Kim Hammer here on the Dave Ellswick Show. We'll be back with Matt Smith. God knows what is going to happen.
Oh, Lord.
On the Dave Ellswick Show.
Find us at 1011FM, theanswer.com. Download our apps, stream us 24/7, or watch us at snc.tv. KDXE, Kamek Village, Little Rock.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. The U.S. and Iran have been holding a third round of nuclear talks in Geneva.
Iranian Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi leaves the hotel with his delegation en route to Iran-US negotiations. The state-run Oman news agency says al-Busaidi is expected to meet with the American negotiating team this morning to convey the Iranian perspective and in turn listen to the ideas and proposals put forward by the American side. The talks are viewed as a last chance for diplomacy as America's gathered a fleet of aircraft and warships to the Middle East to pressure Tehran into a deal. President Donald Trump wants the deal to constrain Iran's nuclear program, and he sees an opportunity while the country is struggling at home with growing dissent following nationwide protests last month. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Deadly gunfire off the northern coast of Cuba involving a U.S. registered speedboat. Havana says 10 people on board, Cubans living in the U.S., are trying to infiltrate the island with terrorist motives. 4 were killed by Cuban agents. Secretary of State Rubio says the U.S. is investigating. The Trump administration withholding almost $260 million to Minnesota over allegations of Medicaid fraud.
We have decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding that are going to the state of Minnesota in order to ensure that the state of Minnesota takes its obligations seriously to be good stewards of the American people's tax money.
Vice President Vance. A House committee conducting the Epstein investigation is hearing today from Hillary Clinton. Her testimony will be followed by that of former President Clinton. He is due to testify tomorrow. The Clintons agreed to testify after being threatened with a contempt charge. On Wall Street, the Dow was up about 34 points, the NASDAQ down more than 350. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
In Paris,
it's the home of the Mona Lisa and once a royal palace. But now the historic Louvre Museum is getting a new boss. Announcing the new appointment on Wednesday, French government spokeswoman Maude Bregion told France and the world that Christophe Laribout, a veteran museum director, would take on the new and challenging role. Laribout takes over from Laurence Descartes, who resigned on Tuesday, 4 months after the brazen heist in October of the French crown jewels. Laribout will be inheriting quite a list of difficulties, including security weaknesses exposed by the recent robbery, a burst water pipe near the Mona Lisa, staff walkouts, and the revelation of a ticket fraud operation. However, the new director brings a proven track record. He's been running another world-renowned French landmark and tourist attraction, the Palace of Versailles. I'm Karen Chamas.
News and analysis, townhall.com. A vote of confidence in Mexico's ability to handle a major global sporting event despite a surge of deadly violence across Mexico over the past few days.
FIFA says Mexico can still safely co-host the World Cup despite deadly cartel violence leading to a top drug lord's death. On Monday, authorities reported at least 70 deaths after cartel members burned cars and blocked roads in a number of states. The unrest followed the death of a cartel boss known as El Mencho. Some local league matches have already been postponed, and some soccer leaders are expressing concern about playoff games scheduled in Mexico. Bob Agner reporting.
Max Scherzer returning to the Toronto Blue Jays 2 weeks into spring training. The 3-time Cy Young Award winner has inked a $3 million one-year contract with the reigning American League champions. The 41-year-old Scherzer can earn more money, another $10 million in performance bonuses. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Matt's on his way, so he'll be here shortly.
You should be nice and rested up.
I watched a movie. I didn't go see it at the movies, but I watched a movie I've been wanting to see. It's Badlands Predator.
Oh, Badlands. I haven't seen the Predator one yet.
Yeah, it's good.
I watched the new movie, but it's on Prime. The Bluffs. If you like a pirate movie, that's a great movie.
Is that what that's all about?
It's about Bloody Mary.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I'll watch that.
It's good.
I saw it. I saw they've been putting it up because it's the new movie that's up now.
Awesome.
I bet you that's Matt right now.
Ding dong.
I heard the doorbell ring. All right, so as soon as Matt gets here, we'll get him here into the studio and make him comfortable and start doing. There he is. He's coming in now. Here he comes. He's got both of his cups full of water and ready to talk. Have a sip, man. Today I was driving into work.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Channel 21.
Channel 21.
And that's the Underground Garage.
Oh, gotcha. You talking about Sirius XM?
Yeah. And so
39 is a channel, but anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, they played 3 songs in a row by Rancid.
Okay.
Man, I love that. I mean, I'm a big Rancid fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to it and I was going, man, I remember when we went from, hair bands basically and moved into a new wave in punk rock.
Mm-hmm.
And how some people did not like punk rock at all.
The disco, there was a big clash with disco and punk rock. I like both, but they didn't like each other.
Well, no.
Back in the 70s, 60s, 70s?
Yeah, go to Comiskey Park the night that they blew up all the disco records.
Oh, I love disco.
I remember that well.
I can recommend Channel 38.
Which one is that?
Ozzy's Boneyard.
Okay, yeah, I listened to it.
38's good. I recommend 39.
Okay.
And I recommend 103, Faction Talk.
Okay. Well, there's another one I'm trying to think that plays a lot of kind of speed metal stuff, and I forget what it is. But I tend.
It's in the 40s. They got like liquid metal.
There
it's
you
in the
go.
40s.
Liquid
yeah,
metal.
in the 40s.
Anyway, 21. I like listening to it because I like a lot of old music too, and old blues. So I like that mix that they put together, and they get it on there. And
well, those are my 3 stations: 38, 39, and 103 Faction Talk.
Okay, all right,
yeah,
that's cool. What's your station on television for streaming?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, a lot really. I mean, HBO Max is good. AMC Plus is good. Paramount Plus is good. I mean, I'll occasionally find something worth watching on Amazon. Sometimes, not often.
Yeah, Prime's good. They have some good stuff. The thing I'm watching right now, I watched The Night Agent with Hiddleston on.
Oh, that's awesome,
on
isn't it?
Prime. Yeah, it's really good.
I love Tom Hiddleston.
And then I'm watching on Netflix. They've got their own version of The Night Agent over there.
Oh, do they?
And it's good.
Is it The Night Manager?
Yeah.
Night Manager's
Tom
Prime.
Hiddleston.
Yeah,
that's
Night
on
Manager.
Prime.
The Night Manager's on Prime Video. That's
Night
good.
Agent is the other one I think you're
Night
talking
Manager. It was originally on AMC. The season 2 is on Prime. I've watched that on Prime. I'm watching Industry on HBO Max right now. Gangs of London on AMC Plus.
Man, I love it.
I like me some Mobland.
I love it. Well, and they haven't brought season 2 out. I don't know how long they're going to wait on that. Wish they would hurry up because Gangs of London turned out their episodic thing. They've got 3 seasons now, and it didn't take them 2 years to put it together.
Yeah, that's good on there, and I like currently Tehran on Apple.
That
TV.
Is really good. That is probably the most realistic spy show on television.
It's good. I like Slow Horses on Apple TV too.
Yeah, deals with the Mossad over on.
And if you're
Tehran.
watching HBO Max, Smashing Machine with The Rock's a good movie on there right now.
I haven't watched that.
It's a good movie.
I got all those stations, but you can only watch so much.
Right. It's overkill.
I've been trying to to watch some different things. And I've been wanting to sit back, and instead of doing really serious things all the time, I needed a show that I could sit down that was about a half hour long, which meant about 23 and a half minutes on Netflix or whatever. So I've gotten hooked on Shelton.
Haven't seen it.
Is that the one where he's a kid?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. And, he's the kid that is always way too, well, he's so smart. And then he's way too smart for his own abilities or his own age. Anyway, he's in high school and he's 9 years old.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy. It's
Gotcha.
crazy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Another Doogie Howser.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. So what's coming out this weekend that we need to go see?
Well, big this weekend is Scream 7.
Big?
I'm going to go see it.
That'll be the number one box office draw over the
like
weekend.
a redo of Big?
No, the big movie this weekend is Scream 7.
Oh, Scream 7. I thought you said it was going to be on Screen 7. Whoops,
big
my
movie
bad.
this weekend is Scream 7. Yeah, that'll be number one at the box office.
Yeah.
Scream.
Yeah, so Scream 7, it'll be big. I mean, it'll open to a nice, good number for an R-rated, scary movie in February. That'll be number one at the box office.
It should be fun. There's only, I said this when they did number 3, there's only so much you can do with Scream.
Not really.
And they just keep coming up with new ways of looking at it.
If people are going to watch it, they're going to definitely develop it further out for sure. That's number one at the box office this weekend. And then Epic Elvis is also out this weekend.
What's that about?
Epic Elvis, EPIC. And EPIC, Epic, stands for Elvis Presley in Concert.
Oh.
And you had the Elvis movie, which I thought was wonderful, that starred Austin Butler.
That was really good.
Really a good film. The man that made the Elvis movie with Austin Butler has went back and dug up all this archive footage of Elvis
in concert
that has never been seen before. They have went in and remastered this footage, both the video and the audio, and they put it into a movie. And same director as Austin Butler's film, Epic Elvis.
That should be interesting. I bet you there'll be a lot of Elvises in line at the box office and in a theater.
EPIC, Epic Elvis, and that's out this weekend.
I learned a lot more about Elvis here recently. I watched a documentary on Netflix about Las Vegas, which was really good, and 2 episodes dealt with Elvis. Elvis literally kept Vegas working for many years.
Yeah, and
because he would come back to Vegas twice a year. And when he came back to do his concerts there, they did big money. Big money.
I learned that part about the Colonel in that movie where he wouldn't let him go overseas.
Yeah, they could do
because he couldn't go overseas.
They could do a show about just the Colonel.
Yeah,
they really could. That guy was nuts.
Yeah, he didn't want him to go because he couldn't go.
Yeah, Elvis, really established the residency in Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They have a lot of things now that are actually called a residency.
Did you see Metallica just announce their residency?
I'll be there opening night.
I know, right?
I'll send you some pictures from backstage.
I'll be there. What you talking about?
Okay, you going backstage? Okay.
I can get my way backstage. That's what I do.
Okay. All right. I'll believe that when I see it.
Okay. All right. You just don't know me.
I know you.
No.
All right. So anyway, what are we looking as?
Those are the 2. I mean, that's the 2 new ones this week. Scream will come in, do some big box office, maybe 40 to 50 million this opening weekend. And Epic Elvis will do extremely well for a documentary film. Those are both going out wide this weekend. They'll do very, very well. Then there's an independent film called Dreams, which will be playing at Riverdale 10 and Central City 10 in Hot Springs. So Riverdale 10 in Little Rock, Central City 10 in Hot Springs. That's Riverdale 10, Riverdale10.com. That is a new film from Greenwich Entertainment. That's out today. It's an independent film. Now we're holding over GOAT, which GOAT will end up being the biggest film of February. It's PG animated from Sony about this little goat who becomes a winning basketball player against these other animals like rhinoceros and tigers and hippopotamuses. And he's better than them, even though he's a small goat.
Right.
it's a cool animated take, PG, great for kids.
It's like Bugsy, huh?
It's Space Jam in a way, right? But just animated. Very, very good little movie. It's already done 100 million globally. It should be the biggest hit for February. Great little film. Wuthering Heights is still playing, obviously.
How's that one doing?
With Barbie. It's doing okay for an R-rated film. It's more of a big city picture, but it's selling some tickets. It's not doing as well as GOAT, but it's out there. People are watching it. Crime 101 is still on the screen. That is a good action thriller to check out. Got some of the, Thor and those guys.
Yeah, Helmsworth is
he's in there. That's really good. That is still playing. Zootopia is hanging around still for the kids. If you hadn't seen it, it's been in the top 10 now for 14 big weeks. Wow. It's had some longevity.
It's amazing.
That just speaks to the legs that a really good PG film can have at the box office.
That's DreamWorks.
GOAT is following that. Zootopia is Disney.
Disney, okay.
GOAT is Sony. So those are still out there. Those are all worth seeing. There's a slasher pick out there from 20th Century called Psycho Killer. That's playing still.
Well, that isn't mincing words.
It is.
You know what you're going to get with that movie.
I might go see that one.
It's like Maniac Cop. Yeah,
but definitely,
is it gory?
Definitely, somewhat. Yeah. Definitely the best pictures are Scream 7, Epic Elvis, GOAT, Wuthering Heights, Crime 101. Definitely go see those. The independent release Iron Lung is still playing. That's been popular. It's stuck around for a couple of months, which has been a pleasant surprise at the box office. Nobody saw that coming. It's really weird, the dynamic that has changed just in the last few years with the technology and how things are working with the cinema industry. It's very, very intriguing with that film.
Okay. So have you heard anything about the Mario movie?
It's just going to be huge. I mean, it comes out.
My grandson wants to see that so bad.
Wednesday, April 1st, and it'll be a massive motion picture. It's Wednesday, April 1st. The next kids movie is Hoppers, PG from Disney. That comes out next Friday, March the 6th, about some rabbits, that'll be out there. And then a month behind that on Wednesday, April 1st is a Super Mario movie. And then about a month behind that is Animal Farm PG, another animated film.
I'll go see that.
Yeah.
From Angel Studios. That's out there. And they've got them spaced out this time of year about 4 weeks apart, which is good. And so, I'm sure when Hoppers hits next week, Zootopia will come out of theaters. And then a month after Hoppers is the Mario movie. And a month after that, we'll have Animal Farm PG, Angel Studios. And then we'll get into summer being here and school being out. And then we'll get a lot of fun.
So when does The Odyssey come out?
I want to say that is July, I believe. I believe that's a summer film.
I can't wait for it. I'm looking so forward to seeing what Nicholas Nolan does with that movie.
I mean, there's some good films in the summer, as always. They stack the summer. That is generally a jam-packed, roughly 10-week run right there. You got, June and July, and typically the first week in August and the last week in May. That summer season now is Memorial Day weekend in through about that, you get that first weekend in August. Generally, you'll have some good openers in there. Sometimes May kicks off a little earlier if they position the right film in early May. And sometimes you can extend summer another week or two, but now they've got schools going back about August 14, so it makes it a little bit harder.
So does Tom Cruise have anything this summer? Or is he taking it off?
He's got the new, I think his new Top Gun film will go this summer.
So,
another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the third Top Gun. This is like the Maverick type sequel. That'll be out there. So he's kind of
that's been the big thing now, doing the
That's sad they can't come up with nothing new.
Well, he's kind of alternating. He'll have a summer with a Mission Impossible. Then he's had the summer with a Top Gun movie, that kind of thing. And that's what he did. He had a Top Gun movie in 22. He had a Mission Impossible movie in 23. He had another Mission Impossible movie last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got the new Top Gun this year. So that's what I'll do. I mean, he's still the number one top draw at the box office. Number two is debatable. Brad Pitt.
I was going to say Brad Pitt's got to be really close to that.
That's a debatable there. Who's two? Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio. And then obviously whichever one is two, the other one's third. But those are definitely the top three.
What's Pitt got coming up after F1?
They have signed him to do a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood type thing for Netflix.
Ooh.
So he's going to do that. I'm not sure. I haven't boned
I love
up.
that movie.
Yeah,
I haven't really boned up on that. I'm not a Netflix person.
I don't have
watch
I'm
Netflix,
same.
so I haven't really boned up on that to see what the Quentin connection is or how much his involvement is.
What about Tom Hardy?
He's very much a
Gangs
Quentin,
of London.
No.
No, I take that
Mobland.
back. Mobland.
Yeah, but what else has he got going on? He's got some movies, doesn't he? Coming?
Quentin is very much a cinema guy. He bought an old one-screen theater in Hollywood and refurbished that, and is running old movies there on 35 millimeter and 70 millimeter film. And I mean, he's got like all kinds of crazy programs. He's playing like the original Debbie Does Dallas at midnight on the weekend, and then like some obscure,
like
wild,
Tarantino.
horror flick from like 1953. And I mean, just
show the 70 mil of Patton.
Yeah, just crazy stuff like that. And then he's playing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever. It's just it's probably a tax write-off for the guy, but I mean, it's really 35 millimeter and 70 millimeter stuff, and also digital. So I don't know if he's got involvement in the little TV show they're going to do on Netflix. I'm not really sure because he's not really a TV guy, It's kind of like the guy that did Dunkirk, right? Or Inception. I mean, it's just not really his
Nicholas Nolan.
Not his
bailiwick
preferred format or preferred art form, I guess. As far as Tom Hardy, I haven't really got into what he's got next. There's just an ocean out there of potential cinema content to keep up with now. It was years ago, you essentially had pretty much like every Friday, you would have 2 movies released from one of the major film studios. And so you just kind of knew, these 2 are coming out. These are the 2 that I'm going to play. And maybe this Friday it's a Paramount and a Warner. Next Friday it's a Disney and a Sony. Next Friday it's a Fox and Universal, whatever. But you basically had 2 pretty mega wide releases every Friday. They were certainly counter-programmed. They were from major studios. That's what you played. And you'd end up running 100, maybe 110 different films a year through your typical 8-plex motion picture cinema, right?
Now you don't know what's coming down the pike, huh?
Well, now so much has changed just with the technology and the consolidation of the studios, and there are less major studios now, but there's also a massive amount of independent studios out there, and the distribution model has changed. Back in the day, they would have to make prints, 35 millimeter prints.
So they had to know who was going to show what.
And you had to spend several $1,000s to make a copy of a film.
Right.
And they would ship that film to you. And then when you finished playing it, you would ship it to another theater to play it. And that was extremely expensive. Now that they've digitalized the movies, they put them on a hard drive or they can send them to you over a satellite. And so it is easier to distribute the content. And because it's easier to distribute the content, you get a lot of content now that's available for cinemas that would not have been available in the past. So you really got to choose what you're going to play. Still, typically, people are showing up for Scream. It's Paramount. Right. And you feel like Elvis is a draw in the South, so you're going to play that.
Yep.
But some stuff just hits out of the blue, like that Iron Lung film. And it's kind of shocking that people turn up. That's very unusual. The last time I saw something happen like that was the Blair Witch Project. That's been many years ago, where something just very independent and organic kind of had a groundswell in attendance. It's not often.
All right, let's take a break. Then we'll come back. Matt Smith's here. I always like it when Matt comes on because I never know what the roller coaster ride is going to be like here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
The answer, weather.
We may see the sun occasionally today, but mainly clouds. High of 68. Same clouds tonight in 53. Then sunshine to end the work week on Friday and a high of 70.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Let's be honest. The National Symphony may not be in his future, but he wanted to try violin. So you said yes because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more about keeping your kids safe in your vehicle at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Secular crew sees the irony.
Here's how you register, though, which is raising some eyebrows. You need 2 original forms of ID, 2, and your social security card. So it seems to me it is much harder to become an emergency snow shoveler than the DNC would have it be to vote in an election in the United States.
Secular. Afternoons at 3 on 101.1. The Answer. There's a real battle going on, not only for our future, but that of our children and grandchildren. How do we ensure they have it better than we do? One way is to keep listening to us. We're your information source in the battle. 101.1, The Answer. The Dave Ellswick Show is back. 101.1, The Answer.
Yeah.
You told Jamie Kahn to rough up the actor.
Oh, yeah.
And that scene where Kahn comes screeching up and grabs the Talia Shouter's husband and just beats the living snot out of him.
Yeah.
He was actually hitting him with that trash can top, just beating him up.
Nice.
So when he rolled over by the fire hydrant and looked like he had been whooped and hung up wet, that actually happened.
They recut Godfather 3, and Coppola changed some things out and kind of went with, I don't know, what would maybe be more of a director's cut. It's called Godfather Coda, Michael Corleone.
I've seen that. I need to watch that. That's one of the few I haven't watched.
It's much better than Godfather 3 that was originally released because they cut a lot out and somewhat interrupted the flow to release that to cinemas when it came out from Paramount in 1990. Right. Now that the footage has been restored to really reflect his original vision, it's a much better movie. Now, I'm not saying that it is of the caliber of Godfather, which possibly the greatest motion picture ever made, and Godfather 2, which is hands down the greatest sequel ever made. There's no debating that. There is no sequel. Godfather 2 is the greatest sequel in the history of motion pictures since Einstein invented the light bulb. That is not debatable. Is Godfather the best movie? Some people say Citizen Kane. Some people say Gone with the Wind. Some people say Apocalypse Now, whatever. You can debate what's the greatest ever, but there's no debate on what the greatest sequel is. I agree. Now, if you watch Godfather 3 as originally released, it's all right. But if you watch Coda, Michael Corleone, it's a much better film.
All right. Keep your thoughts to yourself for right now. We'll come back. We'll talk further about that on the Dave Ellswick Show. But right now, here's what's happening in the news.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. In congressional testimony, Hillary Clinton says she has no information on Jeffrey Epstein's criminal activities and never recalls meeting him. He did visit the White House multiple times while Bill Clinton was in office. The U.S. and Iran are holding a third round of nuclear talks in Geneva. Today's talks are aimed at reaching a deal on Tehran's nuclear program. Deadly gunfire off the northern coast of Cuba involving a speedboat from Florida. Havana says the 10 people on board, Cubans living in the U.S., were trying to infiltrate the island. Secretary of State Rubio says the U.S. is investigating the incident. The Trump administration withholding nearly $260 million to Minnesota, this over allegations of Medicaid fraud. Stocks are mixed on Wall Street. The Dow is up 81 points, while the NASDAQ 285 points in the red. More details at srnnews.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Whether retirement's just around the corner or already here, it's common to be overwhelmed. That's where Total Wealth with David Lucas can help. Utilizing their signature Thrive planning process, they'll work together with you to identify and resolve your concerns, allowing you to fully pursue your passions and enjoy life. Because a successful retirement isn't just how much you save, it's the quality of life you live. Schedule a free evaluation now at TotalWealth.com. While you're at the website, download the free guide to Social Security. It'll help answer a lot of your questions. Go to TotalWealth.com or call 501-382-8800. 501-382-8800. One more time, go to TotalWealth.com or call 501-382-8800. That's 501-382-8800. 501-382-8800. Go to TotalWealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Lucas Total Wealth, an Arkansas registered investment advisor. Arkansas Insurance License number 161527743.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family. They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend. At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council. We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. It was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age. Everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
The conservative voice of Arkansas. The Dave Ellswick Show on 101.1. The Answer.
All right, 25 minutes until 11 o'clock here on the Dave Ellswick Show. We're almost done with the Thursday show, which means tomorrow is Friday, which is my favorite day of the week.
Free for all Friday.
Yeah, so that I can get on and
Call
know that the
in.
weekend's coming.
Tell us if you voted in the early voting for the primary.
Have you voted yet?
Yes, sir.
You got done. Good for you.
Got to get it done,
Dave
baby.
keeps getting
Every time. Well,
sidestepped by that chicken.
I am easy. I am easy to be, get off of what I want to do. I wanted to go yesterday, and I couldn't get past. I couldn't get past. The chicken place.
The chicken place.
Yeah, the Louisiana Popeyes.
I love spicy. I love that spicy.
I wish they had double spicy. I wish they had some
double
real
spicy.
hot stuff. I like the hot stuff. It's good stuff. All right. So
yes.
I asked you about The Offer. You've watched it.
Oh, it's so good.
It is good. I mean,
Preach.
There's so much stuff in that movie.
It's great. It's a good series. It's a good series.
Yeah.
What can you say?
I mean,
man?
I have watched The Godfather a gazillion times. I've got it on disc. All right, so I watch it whenever I want.
So is it actors or is it
just a whole
documentary?
Story, really.
It's actors.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about the making of The Godfather, but it's a series, and so it's a drama.
What I like is that I didn't realize that Ruddy, who is the producer of the movie, got himself tied up so closely with Joe Colombo.
Ooh.
That wasn't good.
Could get you killed.
And could get you. It almost did get him
you
killed.
You might get clipped.
He almost got killed. And then they're shooting the scene where Michael goes into the Italian
restaurant, the washing machine,
and he shoots the police commissioner, and he shoots the other hood. And as they're pulling the trigger, now I know it didn't happen this way, but as he's shooting them around the corner, Rollo, the guy who was the hood that was trying to roll Ruddy, ends up getting shot at his birthday party.
Well. Imagine how that works out. Happy birthday to you.
It was really crazy. It was a great movie, though. It was really good. I couldn't wait. Luckily, I watched it. It had 10 episodes. So I watched 5, I watched 4, and then I watched 1. And because I wanted to really savor that last one.
What?
And I thought it was interesting that he walked away.
What?
He walked away from doing Godfather 2 as producer and did The Longest Yard instead with Burt Reynolds.
It was probably safer.
Which was a huge movie. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think he had his fill of the mob.
Burt Reynolds was the 1970s, man. Burt Reynolds was the 1970s.
That was a great
was
movie. It was great. Remember the people that were in there, man? I mean, Joe Cap was in that.
This is a great film.
And,
Smokey the Bandit.
What's his name from? Yeah, all those movies.
Deliverance. What's not to love about Burt Reynolds, man? Yeah. He was a man's man.
He was good.
He was the best, man.
Except when he put on pantyhose. Anything else was all right.
Well.
I had to bring that up. I'm sorry. I was reading about all the women he was involved with. And see, I knew that Lonnie Anderson was somebody that he was involved with.
Yeah,
I knew Judy Carn was somebody but I did. There were 2 other women I didn't even know anything about, which is kind of weird because I kept up
Dave,
with Burt Reynolds.
There's a bunch of women you didn't know anything about.
Yeah, well,
with Burt Reynolds, brother.
But I'm talking about ones that he had long-term relations with.
Okay.
Judy Carnes was just nuts. She was crazy.
Yeah,
that was the problem there. She was just crazy. I mean, what you saw in Laughing was really her.
Amen.
That was really her doing that stuff because it was her personality.
Amen.
So, what do you know is in the mill out there that they're talking about that should get everybody excited about movies over, I don't think about my own mortality all that much.
Okay.
So when I just figure it's going to happen when it happens. You know what I'm saying?
What's that?
I'm going to leave this earth.
Okay.
That's going to happen.
All right.
But there's movies that, I know are not supposed to come out for 3 years. And I go, man, I can't wait to see that, and I start looking forward to it.
Well, I mean, for the summer, Grogu with The Mandalorian is going to be big. I mean, when they bring that in for the whole Star Wars.
The Mandalorian. That's
and
a
Grogu,
great show.
That's going to be big. That's going to be big. I mean,
Pedro Pascal is a lucky man.
He has done well. He has done well. Surprisingly, when you look at, like, we had a okay year at the box office in 2023.
Yes.
Had a lot of PG films that year and a lot of good family content that year. And the PG films actually sold more tickets than the PG-13 films that year.
That's interesting.
It is. It is. I think that, as we get back to wholesome, family content, right?
Yeah, it's not when you walk in and talk and pitch a movie, do the elevator pitch or whatever. And there was a time that if it was a PG, they didn't even want to talk to you.
Well, I just think that a lot of times the creative types get out of touch with the ticket buying public, and if you put a PG film together that appeals to families, you put that out there, families will turn up, kids will go, parents will feel good about it. You can't put political correct agenda type things in a movie geared toward kids or family. That's a mistake. Make that and make it R and distribute it, but it's not for families. It's not for children. And I think that agenda thing, like, they make the Lightyear little cartoon and they have a supposed lesbian character in that. Now, what's the point of that? That's just retarded.
Yeah.
If you want to make an R-rated movie about a lesbian that flies spaceships, by all means, make the film.
Yeah.
And people can decide if they want to buy a ticket to it or not. But there's no reason to put that in a PG film geared toward kids. So I think there's some stupidity out there, just like, if you want to,
Walt Disney's granddaughter is stupid.
I think losing, the $5 billion they lost has taught them a lesson. And so
I hope so.
When you watch Zootopia 2, it's just a great family film. That's what you need to do with the PG content. I mean, the stupidity of that reminds me of, like, I'm a band or I'm an artist and I'm going to go on tour, but I don't want to play the hits. And I don't want to play the hits because I've been playing those 20 songs.
I've heard those songs forever.
For 40 years. I don't want to play them anymore.
Your audience hasn't.
And so then if you go out and you actually play a show that's deep tracks, you're going to be playing empty venues. Nobody's going to go because they don't know the songs, And I mean, as great an artist as John Mellencamp is, he learned that on his last tour. Nobody turned up. He's going on tour again, and it's simply John Mellencamp plays the hits, right? And he's only going to sing the songs that you know, right?
He's telegraphing it
because he wants to sell a ticket,
I gotcha.
Right? And so let's not, as you and I have talked about before, there's no reason to have a woke agenda in a family film.
I agree,
right? And so if you do something like what they've done with Goat, it's just a goofball little. These animated animals are playing rollerball, which is like a souped-up version of basketball. It's great for kids. Little boys love that movie, right?
Okay.
That's what you need to do. And so I think we'll see some PG drive the box office this year. And I think as we move back to that, you're going to see something like Mandalorian and Grogu being the type of family entertainment that you want.
Well, here's the key.
Okay.
The big studios aren't so stupid that they don't pay attention to how Angel Studios is making bank on the movies that they're doing.
Well,
they say they're making a lot of money making that. We can do that too.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess as a percentage return on investment, Angel Studios does well because their movies are made very cheaply.
Mm-hmm.
Like you take you brought up Disney. Disney bought 20th Century Fox, or at the time it was called Fox. They've changed the name of that studio to 20th Century. That distribution arm is going to distribute all of the R-rated content.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That makes
so
sense.
that R does not touch the Disney brand. So if it's going to be branded Disney, it's going to be PG or PG-13. If it's R from that company, it's going to be distributed by 20th Century, which is what they call it now instead of 20th Century Fox, or they changed it to Fox for a little while when Fox still had it before the Murdoch sold it.
They're just calling it 20th
20th Century is what it's called
Okay.
now. And what they have done is they have just put the go and the green light on a bunch of movies that have a budget of about $15 million. Okay. Psycho Killer, which is out from 20th Century right now, would be one of those films, rated R, right? And they got $15 million in the picture, making it all in, right? They're going to distribute it. They're going to market it. It has an audience. And with that type of budget, it's going to make money.
It'll make money. That's correct.
Now, it's not going to go out here and do $1 bazillion at the box office, but guess what? It doesn't have to. And so if you sit there and you say, well, you got $15 million in this thing, then you're going to have a marketing budget.
Right.
That's going to be a few million. And generally the metric is whatever it costs to make, it needs to do double that at the movie cinemas, right?
Correct.
So that then when you get to the auxiliary markets, you're getting some profit.
Yeah, it's all
right.
It's all frosting on the cake. Then.
You put 15 million in a picture and it does 30, 35 in ticket sales at cinemas. On downstream, on demand, or on a streaming platform, you've still got that revenue, right? It's profitable.
Yeah.
Why not do it? So
I agree with that.
In that situation, they're not swinging for the fences. Angel Studios is very much along those lines. They are not out there just trying to come up to the plate and hit a home run with the bases loaded. They have very conservative budgets in their film. They market it right to their core audience and all these people that are members of that Angel Guild thing they got going. They throw some free tickets out there, They're pricing these things of, hey, you know what? We're going to get up here and hit a double. And if we somehow get on third base with this thing, we hit a triple. Oh, my word. The profits are rolling in. That's what they're doing. It
or
makes
we do a sound of
business
silence and we hit a home
Sound
run.
of freedom. Sound of freedom.
Yeah, sound of freedom. Then we've really gone.
Extremely rare, yes.
But we just need to know that's not the way it's always going to be.
Right. And they had that little Kevin Hart movie, Solo Mio, and Kevin Hart goes to Italy and he's, a middle-aged person and he's trying to fall in love again and get a romance going or whatever. They release it the weekend before Valentine's Day, which gets it out the week before Wuthering Heights, which was another Valentine's movie. It's PG. It does a little bit of business. It's going to be profitable for them. It's not going to be huge. Doesn't have to be. So they started as a strictly religious only with, The Chosen TV show. And then they had His Only Son and things like that, movies like that were strictly religious. They moved away from that. And now they have what you would call family-oriented content,
yes.
Not necessarily faith-based. They're good films. The budget is within range. They make money. I'm glad to see that. There's a place for those movies at the cinemas. We need that.
So let's talk about the faith-based company that comes out and they don't pay attention like I think Angel Studios has. And it's like the Downies. And they make a movie. And they don't just make a movie. They decide they're going to do Ben-Hur again. And it blows up at the box office. Well, they haven't put out another movie since.
What distributor was that?
I don't remember. It was kind of, I think they're the ones they tried to do it all.
Okay, gotcha.
And they didn't have Roma Downey Roma Downey is a smart woman, businesswoman.
Yeah.
She just bit off a lot more than she could chew.
Well, you've got Fathom Entertainment out there, Fathom Events, and they do a lot of specialty programming. And one piece of that is they're faith-based.
Right.
But they do reissues of classic films. They also do sporting events. They also do concerts. So you could have boxing, you could have wrestling, you could have some baseball from them. Also classic films reissued to theaters, also documentaries. Also the Metropolitan Opera, right? but they do release a lot of faith-based films. I mean, we've got one coming up called I'm His Daughter. It's about, believing in Jesus and Jesus is your father and things like that. That's coming up. We just had one on the apostles, right? So it is a piece of what they do, and they figured out we're going to make this an event, and we're going to put this movie in the cinemas on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday this week. And we're going to market it to churches and market it to the faith-based audience, and the faith-based audience will turn out.
Yep. And
it works. They know what they're doing.
And they do well with those movies now.
Yes.
Because when they used to make them, they stank. They were terrible movies.
I think you've got to have...
Like the Left Behind movies.
Yes. With Kirk Cameron.
Yes.
I think you people that want to see a faith-based film, or people that want to see just a good, clean family film, right? They want to go see a good movie that does not contain the violence, the sex, and the language. They still want a good movie, though.
Yeah.
Right?
They want
a quality motion picture that's worth watching.
That's just like the other movies that are at the cinema.
Correct. That doesn't contain sex,
right.
violence, and language.
You're right. All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll finish it up here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Did you hear Congressman French Hill on the Dave Ellswick Show?
Well, that's always been the case, and it's why the coddling of the Obama administration just strengthened the Iranians. The Ayatollah, Reuters reported, ended up with $1 billion net worth from this simple cleric in Tehran, and they funded through their oil sales massive terrorism through Hezbollah, the Houthis, Hamas, leading ultimately to the horrific murders and mayhem in Syria, Lebanon, and the horrible attacks on October 7th. So Iran is a terrible state actor on terrorism. Trump has sent the Abraham Lincoln carrier group there to just send notice that we want, obviously, peaceful transit of the oil in the Strait of Hormuz and, to keep them in check.
Don't miss Congressman French Hill, Wednesday mornings on 101.1 The Answer.
So you need a new roof for your house. You got a leak. I can only tell you, go with the best. Go with the folks that I use. PI Roofing. PI Roofing will get your roof taken care of. They'll deal with the insurance people, the appraisers, and all that stuff. All you have to do is call them and ask them to help you. 501-707-3548. It's a number to call so you can talk to the good folks at PI Roofing.
101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We may see the sun occasionally today, but mainly clouds. High of 68. Same clouds tonight in 53. Then sunshine to end the work week on Friday and a high of 70.
America is at a tipping point. To ensure we stay the land of the free and home of the brave, you need to be informed and engaged. That's why we're here. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. The Dave Ellswick Show continues now. 101.1 The Answer.
All right, let's finish it up here.
Yes,
today.
sir. Yes,
Got
sir.
5 minutes till
All right.
11 o'clock. What's playing again at the cinema?
Cool. Now hit the website, Riverdale10.com. That's Riverdale10.com. And from that website, you can click theaters, and it'll list the other 11 locations you can check out. This is what's playing at all the locations. Scream 7 starts today. Be sure to check that out. New from Paramount Plus, be number one over the weekend.
And Courtney Cox is in it.
Epic Elvis starts today, playing all locations. Held over from last weekend. I Can Only Imagine 2, PG, about the Christian singer.
That's going to be a big movie.
Yes, it's on. Held over from last weekend. Be sure to check that out. We talked about earlier, held over from last weekend, Psycho Killer, rated R from 20th Century Studios. Be sure to check that out.
And don't complain if you come out and you go, wow, that had a lot of blood in it.
He just seems so excited when he says that, too.
Psycho Killer.
Psycho Killer.
Okay, here's what I'm really excited about. GOAT, PG from Sony Pictures, animated, good for the whole family. Number one picture of the box office 2 weeks in a row. Be sure to check out GOAT. Take the kids, take grandma, take everybody. It's awesome. A thriller action picture, Crime 101, still playing. Wuthering Heights, rated R, with Barbie herself, Margot Robbie, still on the screen. Great Valentine's movie. Another love story, Solo Mio from Angel Studios, PG, still playing. We are still showing Send Help, rated R. Be sure to check that out.
Boy, that movie's making some good. It's got legs.
Cool thriller. The indie film, Iron Lung, still on the screen. And if you're down in Hot Springs, Arkansas, you can see Melania still playing at Central City 10, centralcity10.com.
Have things calmed down on your internet?
Nah, they're still crazy. If you're in New York City and you got a comment about something playing at a movie theater in Hot Springs, Arkansas, we're not sweating you, bro. You ain't been to the movies anyway. We're not sweating you. Remember, we feature luxury leather electric recliners with tables and reserved seating in all auditoriums. We serve over 40 different beers and 10 different wines in Cabot, at the Hot Springs 8 in Hot Springs, and, of course, at the Riverdale 10 in Little Rock. We got a full food menu at all of our locations, including chicken sandwiches, chicken strips, White Castle cheeseburger sliders, Nathan's hot dogs, Eisenberg bratwurst sausages. We've got key lime pie. We've got chocolate pie. We've got all the popcorn you could possibly eat. Bavarian.
And it's good food.
Bavarian pretzels. Okay.
It's good food.
About 30, 40 flavors of candy. We got it all. You can get the full food menu there. Just go to Riverdale10.com and click menu. Okay. All seats are reserved. All tickets are sold in advance. Go to our website. Save some money. It costs you $2 to buy that ticket in Fandango, Flix, or Atom Ticketing. Go to our website for cheaper online ticketing fees. All tickets sold in advance.
And talking about the food, they have snow caps.
We do. Some good chocolate right there.
Most theaters don't have them anymore.
On next week, we'll have Hoppers PG from Walt Disney and The Bride, which is like a remake of The Bride of Frankenstein.
That looks so
both
weird.
Starting on the 6th.
Yeah.
Be sure to check that out.
That's definitely counter-programming.
Riverdale10.com for all of your features, all the websites. You can catch us in Hot Springs, VIPcinema.com. Zootopia still playing there. We still got Zootopia on in Searcy, SearcyCinema.com. Still catch Zootopia in Cabot, VIPcinema.com. Still catch us in Batesville, Oaks, VIPcinema.com. Be sure to check that out. Featuring that at all of our locations. Of course, we got stadium seating, Dolby 7.1 surround sound. Got that out there for you. Just put in some new carpet. Hey, we're banging. We're taking care of you. Have you got your 2026 refillable popcorn bucket?
I haven't got mine yet. I got to get one.
Be sure to get that. You can bring it by and fill that thing up. Get 200 ounces of popcorn for just $5 every time you bring it back to the theater until the end of the year, December 31st. Don't forget, on Tuesday, we've got Tightwad Tuesdays. Tightwad Tuesdays. Tuesday, you can get a $5 movie ticket. You can do that at the Oaks 7 Cinema in Batesville, Arkansas. You can do that at the Riverdale 10 VIP Cinema in Little Rock, Arkansas. You can do that at the Searcy Cinema 8 in Searcy, Arkansas, and at the Central City 10 Cinema in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Tightwad Tuesdays. Get in for $5. Go to the website and check that out. Riverdale10, Riverdale10.com.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Out of time.
Out of time. I love it
here.
here.
Coming in. Appreciate you being here, Matt.
I'm going to see you Thursday, I guess.
Yeah, go
about 10 a.m., brother.
Yeah, go and have a weekend at the movies.
And go see the monster trucks at the arena.
There you go.
Monster trucks.
Sunday.
Is the Gravedigger going to be there? I don't know.
I don't know.
And I hope so. That's my boy.
Take a break. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 7 a.m., Dave Ellswick Show.
Find us at 1011FM, theanswer.com. Download our apps, stream us 24/7, or watch us at snc.tv. KDXE, Kamek Village, Little Rock.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington.